Well, the conditions are certainly not what they were earlier on in the weekend. It is wet, it is wild, it is the 2025 Shannon's Adelaide Rally. There's been plenty of drama since we saw you earlier on this morning, and there'll be plenty of drama over the rest of the day's stages as well. This, the third from last stage, so it's all unfolding. People doing different things, some people suffering mechanical issues due to these wet conditions. It's all happening out there at the moment. Myself, Dan McCarthy, joined once again by Nick Lenthal. Nick, it has certainly flipped on its head. Some real big surprises in the last couple of hours.
Dan, as Bill Laurie would have said, it's all happening here. There are so many little tussles going on. 2 or 3 tussles in the top 10 with cars very, very close together. We had some really good runs through Hermitage this morning, but we've also had people experiencing mechanical gremlins, and some of which are due to rain, but some are just those mechanical things that come to haunt you. We're also hoping to see Jonathan Moyer back out on the stages. He has been running earlier today after rectifying a mechanical problem that he had yesterday, and Jai Raymond will also be back hopefully tomorrow with a new gearbox, because he broke the output shaft off his gearbox with all that Rover horsepower yesterday.
There's certainly been a bit of interest as well in the competition class, Nick. Unfortunately, one of our visitors, one of the big name draw cards of the event, Alistair McRae, has hit some problems in the last couple of stages.
I know, I'm devastated, because Alistair, when we saw him this morning on Hermitage, he was really into it. He looked more confident than he had been all weekend, and as we pointed out earlier on, he hasn't driven competitively since pre-COVID, so he had to sort of get back into the groove, even as good as Alistair McRae is. But you could see this morning that he was just going for it. He was right on the power, braking late for the hairpin, and we're not quite sure why, but he's missing in action at the moment. So further details on that as it comes to hand. But Dan, the positions in the top 2, the next 3, and the next 3, and the next 3, super close.
Certainly is. Jack Monkhouse has had some issues already today. I had a chat to him on Thursday, and he is very much looking forward to getting back into some of these stages. Monkhouse, a familiar name to those that watched the Shannon's Adelaide Rally over the years, but you missed last year.
I did, mate. Yes, I was actually in Tasmania this time last year doing the PWS gravel rally for the Australian Championship. So yeah, it was good back on the gravel, and it was pretty much my only event of last year apart from your Motorsport Festival. So yeah, she's a bit of a one event deal at the minute, but it's okay. We enjoy the car and can't wait to get back on the Adelaide roads.
That's what I was going to say, back on the Adelaide roads. Since you were last here a couple of years ago, the competition has certainly lifted.
Absolutely, yeah, there's some real rockets here this year, so looking forward to the challenges and putting the Datsun in front of all these pesky Escorts.
That leads me perfectly on to the next question. I was going to say, you're a 2-time or multiple-time winner in the classic competition class. Yep. The Escorts are going to be your rivals, and there's a whole swarm of them.
Yeah, there's lots to choose from, and very talented drivers and co-drivers too. So yeah, the pressure's on, but we're just here for a good time, and the result will be what it will be. And yeah, looking forward to it, as I said. And even Chain of Ponds has got a fresh layer of asphalt on it, so I'm looking forward to that.
Is that your target, the competition, the classic competition class this year?
It's just to have a good time, to be fair. Yeah, we just want to enjoy the amazing Adelaide roads, enjoy the great car, and the times will be what they'll be. Like, obviously we won Classic the last couple of times that we've been here, but also we finished actually on the podium outright in 23, and I think we're 4th in 21. So yeah, I'm not chasing sheep stations here, but just want to get to the end of the rally and have a good time.
For those that haven't seen the Adelaide Rally, your Datsun is well known for going sideways. So yeah, tell us a bit about the car.
Well, I've owned it for 25 years, believe it or not. So I bought it from this gentleman, Paul Bray, from Sydney when I was living in Adelaide at the time. I was 18, and yeah, gravel car traditionally. It's actually still a gravel car with some tarmac springs and tarmac tyres. But yeah, I love the dirt, obviously, but it's nice to make it tarmac, and the tarmac is traditionally a bit nicer on the car. But yeah, we used it for the state championship in 2001, 2002, and then I chased the all-wheel drive national championship dream and did a few seasons of that, and just kept the car, and We've had it at my 21st birthday, used it in our wedding. We won the Alpine Rally, which is the biggest classic gravel rally in Australia. So we won that 10 years ago, actually. So that's a pretty big thing. And then, yeah, gave the car a big rebuild in 2017 with a new Bond roll bar and, yeah, basically headlight to tail light rebuild. So pretty wild build, and, yeah, she's a great car to drive.
This year, the Shannon's Adelaide Rally is the biggest tarmac rally in the world, nearly 500 competitors. What do you think of that? You know, you've seen it over the years. What do you think this year? Bigger and better than ever?
Yeah, it's amazing. There's so many cars and people here, and the atmosphere is always fantastic. I remember watching the classic Adelaide, it was called, back in the heyday, and I used to ride my BMX to the end of my parents' street in Athelston and watch them come down the gorge, and, yeah, always did a few course car rolls over the years. And but it's just amazing to be part of it, and in the competition is just such an honour.
Awesome. Thanks very much, mate. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
What a shame for Jack Monkhouse. He will be back out there, but unfortunately a few technical issues today has halted his progress. And as we say, the same can be said for Alistair McRae and Richard Lovell as well.
But I do have some good news, Dan.
Fire away.
Jai Raymond, the Rover, is back together with its new gearbox. They are hoping to be here on this stage.
Oh, awesome.
Very, very shortly. And we have Hayden Padden there lined up to start the stage. We're very, very close to getting underway. Behind him is Adam Kaplan in the BMW. And both these guys going really, really well. Hayden leading from the start, from the outset. He pulled about 5 seconds on the second stage, the first timed stage of the rally, and he's been in control from there on. Now, Alex Rouleau, who won the event last year, ahead of his dad, Peter, Alex hasn't beaten Hayden on any stages, but he has at many times equalled his time. So it gives you an idea of just how close these guys are. Sure, Hayden he's got the jump on him, and a lot of that comes down to their performance in Cherryville, which they did twice yesterday. Cherryville is a 20-kilometre stage. If you do it twice, that's 40 Ks. If you're 1 second a kilometre different, there's your 40-second gap. Now, 1 second a kilometre doesn't sound like diddly squat, but in rally speak, it's enough. We have another 8 stages tomorrow, but they're relatively short, so it gets harder to make up the time.
You're absolutely right. Exactly what you said. That was all that made the difference. A minute and 23 seconds is his margin. Over half of that was established on those 2 runs through the Cherryville stage. So it's just been a couple of seconds here, a couple of seconds there ever since, and that's steadily increased the margin to be what it is now. So 73 seconds is the lead margin coming into this stage. Hayden Padden ahead of Alex Rouleau, but as I say, it's all being changed really behind. Good news is as Hayden Padden takes off, roars away down towards the fast chicane, the slow point, and that's been added. Oh, he actually clipped the bollard there as he goes over the crest there. 2 wheels in the air, the front wheels lifting up, certainly taking things a little bit more timid than what we've seen here in years gone by, but Hayden Padden attacking this relatively new stage with real vigour, and onto the brakes for the right-hander. That was a fast start. His teammate Alex Rouleau, the defending champion of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally, is next. How's he going to approach that first chicane? Oh, he's really clobbered the cone. In fact, he's knocked it over, and a couple of wheels in the air as well. So he's certainly taken liberties and given that cone a good old walloping. Not sure if any time penalty will be incurred for that, because the stewards will have to get out there straight away and fix that before the next car comes through. And that will be a man who's really impressed us here today, Nick. It is Mr. Redhead.
Josh Redhead has been the climber over the last few stages. Full credit to him. He's New South Wales Rally Champion this year, and he's showing us why. He has the skills and the desire to match it with these guys who are in the best machinery around.
He has moved up rapidly here today. He's moved up no less than 4 places from the start of the day, and now sits in 4th position, only a minute behind Oscar Matthews in 3rd.
And Adam Kaplan underway, Dan. We've been really looking forward to seeing this. Adam's driven a number of different cars in this event over the years. Very skilled driver on tarmac. And just let's watch the BMW M3 go through here. You can see in some areas the water is actually flowing over the road. It's It's been raining quite heavily for the last hour or two.
We were northeast of Adelaide, we're now southeast of Adelaide, around 50 minutes from where we were earlier on today. Lukash, they're really struggling, Andre Lukash, to get that underway there. And look at that, that's almost a straight line through that chicane now. So some of these guys further down the field are able to straight line it. Now tell you what, Nick, that's going to be a big advantage for these guys.
And it's all for bragging rights for 830 metres of road. Who would have thought that the red mist would set in with these fellas? We've
said all weekend long it's been dominated by the Rally 2 drivers, but last year this was the only stage not won by a Rally 2 car, and it was this very man in a Ford Escort, Tom Dermody, that won this stage last year.
Listen to that.
Let's see what he can do. Not quite as much air over the brow of the hill, but in these conditions, these Escorts rear wheel drive, they will be very loose in the rear end. He is the first of our Escort runners to hit this stage. It looks smooth, it looks silky. Unfortunately, I don't think the weather conditions are favouring him.
Jonathan Moyer, back from a broken dry sump pump yesterday. So much work they put into this. Have a look at this, folks.
Oh, that was dead straight through the chicane. Oh, look at that! 4 wheels in the air over the brow of the hill.
365 horsepower of Millington engine, sequential gearbox, built in Australia in Victoria by Flash Motorsport. Flash Gordon being at the top of that.
And he is pushing, look at it, trying to break away from him in the rear. This guy's moved up a few places today. Sunkar, one of our Indonesian visitors, he's put wet tyres on in the last couple of hours, and it is paying huge dividends for him in these conditions. He is moving up the order, a stage at the moment, so he is right now on the fringes of the top 10. It's been a fantastic afternoon for him. As the conditions worsen, all the Indonesians seem to be moving up the order, Nick.
They're used to it. That's the fastest SUV I've seen in a while. And here we go, Dan Bogan in the gorgeous Shelby 350 Mustang, trying to light up the tyres off the line, scrambling for traction. There's nothing there. Listen to this glorious V8.
He couldn't get any grip there, could he, off the line? That was bursting into wheel spin. He's finally got into second gear, I think, now, Nick. How loose is it going to be, though, through here? I imagine it is going to be very tail happy. Probably only going 50%, 60% throttle, I'd have thought.
I think it's fair to say that Dan isn't seeing sheep stations here, but this bloke might. Lockie Cox is a local. He loves lifting the front inside wheel of this car. Watch this Mark 1 Escort go through here. This is classic rallying at its best.
He's another man who's really taken to these conditions well in the last couple of hours. He has moved up a couple of positions in the order, and you can see why. He is really pushing. He's making hay while the sun is certainly not shining here in the Adelaide Hills. He is pushing hard, and he is now only 6 seconds behind Andre Lukash, and that is for position number 11. And those guys earlier on today were separated by about a minute and a half, so that just shows how fast Cox has been in the wet.
As I pointed out earlier, Dan, there's like 3 separate fights going on. There's the one at the front, and then there's a few cars in the middle. It's separated again by only seconds. And there you've got a Mark 1 Ford Escort naturally aspirated car built in the 70s, matching it up with an Ss20 turbo Nissan. There's all kinds of things happening in this top 10 tussle.
There certainly is. So coming into this one, Hayden Paddon, we've already seen, leads Alex Rullo by a minute and 41 seconds. So he's just increasing that just a couple of seconds at a time. Behind that, though, Oscar Matthews, Redhead and Kelly are split by not too much time at all. Oscar Matthews is by himself, sorry, in position 3, but sorry, it's Redhead, Kelly and Reed that are very close. This man, Nick Strakheisen, inside the top 10, a veteran of the Adelaide Rally, Nick.
As is Mike Dale sitting alongside him, and I can tell you Mike would have the whip out. He'll be saying, come on, don't lift, come on. It's only a bit of rain, get on with it. So Mike, a very driven guy, and so is Nick. Nick, a winner in many events around SA, quite often in a Nissan GTR 35, and this car he's had for many, many years. Now you want to see flamboyant Escort driving? Have a look at this.
This should be absolutely spectacular. He told me yesterday, if there's a jump, I will not be lifting. Well, there's one right here. Let's see this. There we go, 4 wheels in the air for Frank Kelly. However, Kelly in the last stage did lose 4th position as he kicks out the rear end on the turn into the corner. We said
yes, this is Frank Kelly. This is what we've come to expect from Frank. His daughter Lauren in the passenger seat. The poor girl, did she get any choice?
That was incredible car control. We promised you sideways action and we got it as bang! Reed hits the bollard as well now, so that continues to open up through there. But yeah, as I say, earlier on, Kelly did fall behind Stuart Reed. Sorry, not Stuart Reed, Redhead, sorry, in the timing. Down to position number 5 now for Kelly. Reed is not too far behind. He's only a minute behind the man that we just saw, as he is one of our best, in fact, the best Indonesian driver here this weekend. He has really improved today. He's taken the bull by the horns and he's ragged this beast up the order, Nick. He has moved up so many positions today. He is right in the fight.
He's loving the rain, as I'm sure he gets practice in that every day in Indonesia. He even lived in Queensland for 10 years, so he would have got plenty of it there as well. But Ryan Irvin has been the mover over the last probably 8 stages.
Yeah, absolutely. He's moved up a total of 3 positions.
Now, how on earth is David McDonough going to control this animal over this 800-metre course? This is a very, very powerful Ford Capri Piranha. It's got a big hulking V8 in it, and David, used to driving a turbo 4-wheel drive car, he's going to have his hands full trying to keep this thing on the ice.
Certainly is. We thought Frank Kelly was all sideways. This will probably be certainly as tricky. The question is, will he have the bravery of Kelly? Oh, look at the traction. He just can't get anything. It's still trying to brake sideways on him up towards the, well, not really a chicane anymore. Just a pinch point, effectively, is all it is now. Here we go, turning into the long loaded right-hander. Again, you can see the rear end trying to break out on him. Unlike Frank Kelly, he decides just to lift off the throttle rather than just drive into it.
He's just testing the grip everywhere he goes. You can see he's just doesn't want it to step out too much.
This car should be well suited to these conditions. I wouldn't be surprised to see Oscar Matthews moving up a couple of seconds closer to those Hyundais in these conditions. This is a car perfectly suited to wet weather conditions. Look at him. He's able to hold the lines that he... Aldgate and Sterling.
And another couple of veterans, Michael McMichael and John Connolly. One owns the car, the other one prepares the car, prepared by Michael McMichael. John, of course, the motoring rider for the Australian. And these guys have done so many of these events that you probably couldn't count them. They're not in it for sheep stations. They love it, and they wouldn't miss this kind of event. So let's just watch a little bit of discretion here. Let's not throw it into the weeds. After all, it's only 800 metres and bragging rights. And we know we're not going to beat those guys up ahead. As we see Mike Lowe in the what was once a Fiat 500, but turned into a 1000cc race-winning category dominating car in Italy in its time. These cars were unbeatable in their racing class, and probably not a bad car to drive through. The road's a lot bigger for Mike Lowe than it is for the others.
It certainly is. You could fit 8 of those wide on these roads, couldn't you? These certainly, even in one lane. I thought this might be coming, so we are going to fix the bollards before we send the next group through, which will be the first of the tours, Nick. But let's not forget, we do have some more competition classes to come. But up next, we have the first of the tours. It will be the Solitaire Tour, and this is a little bit about that event. The Solitaire Tour, one of the biggest in the Adelaide Rally this year. Here's a bit of information about it.
The Solitaire Tour returned to the Shannon's Adelaide Rally in 2024, and this group contains a large amount of supercars, but also sports cars. 6 manufacturers are within the tour, including Audis, Aston Martins, Alfa Romeos, Cupras, Jaguars, and even Land Rovers.
I think we've actually got a couple more comp cars. I think I just saw Metzelli at the bottom of the just underneath the bridge. I think I saw an Evo at the front, so maybe we're not going to get quite into the Solitaire Tour just yet. We might have a couple more timed vehicles to come on through. Matt Selly, let's not forget, Nick, won the event last time he was in it in 2023. He won not just one, but he took a joint victory. So I'm trying to get my words out. He took joint victory with Oscar Matthews in 2023 after 29 stages. Incredibly, 2 years ago, it was a dead heat. You could not script it, could you? It was remarkable. Oscar Matthews and Selly both taking victory. Sadly, Selly couldn't take part last year. He ended up helping out with the scrutineering and that side of it in 2024, but he couldn't stay away. He had to get back behind the wheel, and certainly the quality of the field has risen a fair bit since he was last involved in the event. Look at the rain. It is pretty moist, isn't it, out there at the moment? A little bit of a river just off the racing line, which is good news. Directly where the camera is. Have to say, I am so impressed by these hardy race fans here to enjoy the rally. It is bucketing down. You could not think of a worse afternoon to watch rallying, but these guys are hardened veterans, Nick. They will watch this racing whether it is rain, hail or shine.
Now, there's a good possibility that they're all from Wales, Ireland or Scotland, Dan, because this is what rallying looks like all the time over there. We do actually have a pretty strong crowd. I'm surprised, I honestly am, because it's the weather, to say the least, is inclement, and it's not particularly warm either. We're expecting 30 degrees tomorrow at Strathalbyn, so it's going to be the absolute flip-flop of this. It's nice of them to put that bollard right back in place just for Matt Selly's run. He'd be cursing him. I think it'd probably be a fight at the end of the stage. Why did you have to put that back for me?
Well, he does a lot of work for the FIA, so he's probably there going, well, it should be there, but I want to do it quick time. He'll be in two different minds. He's got his race official mode on, but he's got his racing driver mode on. He wants every advantage he can get, but he doesn't want it at his own expense. Just a bit of a situation for him, but it looks like that has been put back in place, and Matt Selly is there, set and ready to go, and he's got a very experienced co-driver alongside of him.
Matt Selly and Hamish McKendrick look equally at home on gravel as Matt Selly. He's a double South Australian rally champion on gravel, and he'll be relishing in this. He drove the BMW up the Mount Lofty stage a couple of years back. Well, no, 4 years back.
Yes, 4 years ago.
When I was competing, and I couldn't believe the time that he set. It was just ridiculous. I was struggling to get grip everywhere, and he just nailed it. He really nailed it. So I'm expecting good things from Matt through here. I don't think he'll be at all daunted by the rain.
He's been our biggest mover of the day, actually. He had issues yesterday, so he fell right to the tail of the field, but with a few people falling by the wayside, and with him setting some blinding times, Nick, today. At times in the rain, he's been third fastest, fourth fastest in a few of the recent stages, and as a result of that, he's gained no less than 7 positions already today.
Wow. That's hard to do, folks, in rallying. You don't just, it's not like being on a racing circuit and just nipping past people. You've got to beat that stretch of road so much better than the next guy. And, you know, when you make up 5 seconds on these sort of stages, that's probably a second a kilometre that you were quicker.
The people that he's racing against, the likes of Nick Strakajzen, Andre Lukash and Cox, he's surpassed all 3 of those, and they are still running. That's the thing. You might say, oh yeah, well, he's overtaken McRae and Monkhouse because they've stopped, but he's legitimately overtaken the likes of Strakajzen, Lukash, Cox and Sunkar. All of them he's overtaken on the road earlier on today in these conditions. He is a very good driver. Speaking of Rifat Sunkar, we saw him in that big SUV a few minutes ago. He's had a few intermission issues. It's normally a gravel car, so as a result of that, because it's not used to tarmac, the car's been having a few intermittent power steering issues. Also, when it's low in the rev range, it's also been dying on him a few times, so this has cost him a lot of times. And even the starter gear, it's not used to these tarmac starts, and it's really grinding, and they're really struggling with a few issues just converting the car from gravel to tarmac.
Yeah, not easy to do.
No,
not if you're not used to a benchmark setup that you want from tarmac. yeah, he'll make the most of it, and he has done all weekend. But more importantly, he's a brilliant ambassador for Mitsubishi and for Indonesia.
Yeah.
Because he actually championed this whole contingent of guys to come over. And yeah, I mean, sure, you see six people sitting in the cars, co-driver and driver, but when they took the team photograph on Thursday afternoon at the driver's briefing, I think there must have been 35 people there.
Yeah.
There was crew, and they all had their shirts on. They all had team livery on. It looked fantastic, and you can tell that Rifat is a marketing man, because he would have orchestrated all of that.
I said to Courtney, who was integral, she's part of the team with Tim Possingham, Sean Bennett, Jake Olka, who made this event happen, and she was key in getting the Indonesian contingent over here. And I said to her, crikey, Courtney, I didn't know there were so many of them coming over. She said, well, neither did I. There's just so many more than I expected.
And, you know, already, because Rifat has a following of many thousands of people on social media. He's a superstar. And he's already had messages from all his mates saying, we should have come over. We're feeling really bad about it now.
Yeah, correct.
So I think next year, if you think this is an Indonesian contingent, wait until next year.
Yeah, all of the guys that are here, Ryan Nilwan, who's the current Indonesian champion, he's doing really well. First ever tarmac rally, let's not forget, and he's inside the top 10 in amongst some of the names that we've gone through. He's doing an exceptional job. And Eno as well, Moreno.
Moreno and Riff.
Yeah, only 20 and 21 years old, respectively. They've had a couple of technical issues, mainly electrical, and that's seen them miss a couple of stages over the last couple of days. But they're out there improving stage upon stage when they are out there.
They are. And lovely people. I've got to say that all the Indonesian contingent we interviewed.
Yeah.
And they were so accommodating of us, and they actually were so happy that we were interviewing them and, you know, giving them exposure. And of course, because of the live stream that we're on, they're able to watch it in their own country. So all their mates are up at night watching the rally. So it's good stuff. And I'm sure we'll see a few more.
Off goes Matthew Selly, as we say, 2023 Adelaide Rally winner. He knows these roads like the back of his hands, and he's just nailed that first chicane. Gets a couple of wheels in the air as well over the crest and swings it through the long loaded right-hander. Nice grip through there in the Evo. That really does open up the road through the left kink and back towards the next right-hander. Not using all the road on the entry to the corner, but nevertheless a beautiful run through there by Matt Selly. Traditional Selly performance, that one smooth.
That was very smooth. That was actually exactly what I was thinking, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the quickest time, other than Jonathan Moyer, because that looked fast to me. It might have been a little bit ragged, but we were talking about Jonathan Moyer having a problem with the car yesterday. His crew, Gordon, flew back to Melbourne last night, grabbed a pump, brought it back to Adelaide. They manufactured an adapter for it this morning, and they came out, and the first stage that he did back in the car, he was third quickest in the rain, having just come back from half a dozen stages off. As we see Stuart Bowes and Jeremy Brown going through in the 450 SLC Mercedes. This is a gravel car that they've been very successful in. Jeremy Brown has a CV as a co-driver as long as your arm, all over the world. He's co-driven for the absolute best of them. And Stuart Bowes is a world-renowned rally photographer. Has a business in Adelaide, and rallying is simply his passion.
Here we go then, we're set for the next load. So we have now moved on to the Solitaire Tour, which we told you about before. Matt Selly had to negotiate the cone, but we're back with the tours now, and we're going to kick things off with the Solitaire Automotive Tour.
The first of the Aston Martins,
yes,
driven by Luke O'Neill and James Hardstuff, DB12, beautiful car. And to follow that, David Smoker, Solitaire Managing Director in the Aston Martin V8 Advantage. Both of these are 2025 cars, so you're getting to see the latest and greatest. And what we need is for you to call in the showroom on Monday and put the deposit down for one of these and say, we saw you in the Adelaide Rally. We think these things are great.
And you can go in and go, my name's McCarthy, Dan McCarthy.
That's right.
Oh, there we are. Doesn't it look absolutely gorgeous? As I said yesterday, I am a little bit biased. I am a POM, but I think that these are some of the nicest looking cars in the world today. That is for sure. And aren't we lucky to have so many brand spankers, many 2025 model cars. That one is just one example. The DB12, look at it off the line. How good does that sound? He's trying to get some form of traction while putting on a show at the same time. Fantastic. Through he goes. Through the bollards, taking things a fair bit more cautiously than the competition cars did. I don't think there'll be much air from this car, no, not over the brow of the hill. Unlike the competition cars that we've already seen, Nick, they were sent up in 30-second intervals. All of the tours split by just 4 seconds, so there'll be many cars on the stage at the same time. We'll just keep sending them up there.
A couple of 2025 motor cars that you don't want to scratch, Dan, and we'll be talking about that as we move through these tour groups, that manufacturers and dealers are now using the event as a launch pad for their latest offerings that they have, and we've got more of them again today from Ferrari, I think even Lamborghini we have one, but we've got some very special Ferraris, and in this Solitaire automotive group you're going to see Astons, Audis, there'll be some Jags, there'll be some Alfa Romeos, and Solitaire, of course, based on Belair Road at Hawthorne and Medindi and Glen Osmond Road.
Not just the supercars that Aston Martin have to supply, but as you saw there, the Aston Martin DBX 707, the SUV that just took off there as well. This one's one of your favourites, isn't it, Nick? The Alfa Romeo.
The 4C. Oh, not this one. This is the Quadrifoglio, Giulia Quadrifoglio for four-leaf clover, and the Range Rover to follow, the Range Rover Sport. So that's another one of the brands that you can take a look at Solitaire.
Looks to me like that bollard lasted about a minute. It's been absolutely clobbered. Unfortunately though, Nick, it's been clobbered by one of those expensive either Aston Martins or Alfa Romeos up the hill. So one of them has a substantial wound, I imagine, on the front corner of that car.
It's just a flesh wound, Dan. It'll buff out.
Yes, it is a mere flesh wound.
That's right.
Now we move on to the Audi range within the Solitaire Automotive Tour. This is one of my favourite looking ones.
Great shape.
Yeah, it is gorgeous, isn't it? In both the front and the rear end as it goes on through. Any air? No, not quite. This is Tour Leader 2. This is a brand new RS7 Performance. So the highest range in the Audi RS7 sort of choice options that you have available.
It's being driven by Brett Kuhner, but it's alongside him is Gordon Meek, the face of Solitaire's Alfa Romeo brand. So Gordon has been the guy to go to for Alfa Romeo and Fiat for some years.
So what, is he in the Audi?
He's defected, Dan. he's crossed to the dark side, and no, he's probably just having a bit of fun.
Up next we have the first of the Jaguars. This is the F-Pace, the SVR. This is the, as you can see, an SUV. We've got some Audi hatchbacks as well. This is the little hatch, the RS3. So generally, Nick, the rule of thumb is the 3s are the smaller cars and the 7s are the bigger cars. So you've got the RS3 and they get steadily bigger as you go to the RS4, the RS5, the RS6 and the RS7. Of course, RS stands for Rally Sport. These are the fastest Audis in the range. You can get S model Audis, which stands for Sport, but not Rally Sport. So they are very fast, but just not quite as fast as the RS models. As we look now at the Jaguar F-Type, I think that was. Yes, it is, a 2024 Jaguar F-Type. Doesn't that look immaculate? Jaguar are really building some lovely looking cars at the moment.
Yes, and a striking similarity to Aston, always. Similar lineage.
Well,
someone's collecting for the...
offering some lollies.
That's Careen. Nice. Now, this is a Careen Heimzone tradition. All the best co-drivers always bring snakes. They do for the control officials. I've I've had Rick Powell do that with me, and I know Corinne does it all the time. She's driven, co-driven this year with Bruce Field in the Alfa Romeo GTV6 and his Mercedes on gravel. Very, very, very competitive classic class gravel winners. And this time they're just doing a tour leading role in the BMW. She's with Craig Williams, who we'd normally see in a Mini, modern Mini, but clearly this time BMW have said to him, no, you have a drive of this. Tell us what you think of this.
Well, we have moved on from the Solitaire Tour to the BMW and Mini Tour, so that is why, and they are the Tour leaders in a brand new 2025 BMW. As up next we have a little bit older, that looks to me like an M2 just going through. It is an M2 competition. One of the cars that has won the Bathurst 6 Hour in the last couple of years, and my favourite red joke, possibly out of the lot. Damn. I think that says it all, doesn't it, really? Just how it is being approached. But through they go, through the chicane, just straight lining it. One of the new model BMWs about to come over the brow of the hill as well, with the new grille, the grille on the white machine there. And here's another one as well, with the more vertical grille rather than a horizontal.
I just tried to pick up the number on the car as it physically passed us here, Dan. Not a chance.
Yeah, too fast.
It's way too fast. It's just a blur.
We got that one. Matthew Splitieri slowed down for the crest. He didn't want to bottom out or anything in his M3 Competition X drive. And yes, that's another pretty new BMW that we're looking at right here on the screen. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Put the windscreen up.
Yep.
That's Adam Winslow, and co-driver that we're seeing putting up the windscreen of Adam Martin. Another 2025 BMW. We are spoilt, aren't we, Nick? We've got some brand new Ferraris as well. We've got some brand new Lamborghinis to come. So that's something to look forward to on the live stream. Hope you are enjoying wherever you're watching from around the world, whether you're a local Adelaide fan, whether you're watching from interstate or even international. I'm sure, Nick, we've got some Indonesian people tuning in to watch. I imagine that the McRae family over in Scotland and the Kelly family in Ireland, they're probably fast asleep at this time of day, but I'm sure the Indonesians will be tuned in.
If you are watching us from Indonesia, hello from Adelaide, Australia, from the Shannon's 25 Adelaide Rally. We love having you here, and we want more of you to come over next year.
Absolutely. It's been a real pleasure to have you, and hopefully we get back the international Europeans as well, from, as we say, from several from Scotland and from Ireland as well. We really hope this continues going forwards, Nick. During COVID, we saw, didn't we, that numbers dropped away a little bit, but Tim Possingham and the team have done a fantastic job over the last couple of years to really revive the competition class in the Shannon's Adelaide Rally.
Not only competition, Dan, every class has grown.
You're right.
Every class. Yep. And it's grown year on year. So 23 it grew to 24, grew to 25. It's now a much bigger event, and it is in fact the biggest tarmac rally in the world.
Yeah.
How about that?
Incredible, isn't it?
And it's
right
in Aldgate.
Exactly. 489 cars, over 1,000 competitors over the weekend, whether that's driving or co-driving, because a few of the drivers do have different co-drivers throughout the course of the weekend. So in total, there is over 1,000 competitors. Hand out the window, waving to the fans. That was quite cool, going through the Aldgate to Stirling stage. Wairoa, Nick, as it's affectionately known.
It is. And Wairoa is a mansion that you can't quite see. It's off the road a bit, back behind the trees. But good name for the stage. Aldgate to Stirling, only 800 metres. This is a car that we all drive in our normal daily commute.
Yep.
But I was going to say that even though these guys aren't going as quickly as the competition cars that we go through, let's just take into account that they are going quite quickly in daily driver cars. That gives you an idea of just how good modern cars are, and modern tyres and modern suspension systems. So much has improved on the cars, and we were talking about this earlier, that the 1980s Ferrari that is taking part, 176 kilowatts, like That's your family truckster now.
Yeah, that's right. Here we have the Lamborghini Urus from 2025, and I can guarantee it's got 3 times more horsepower than that.
530.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. And
What a
away
machine.
goes Brad Johnson down towards the chicane in inverted commas.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure we can call it that now, but through he goes up the hill towards the long right-hander. They're really looking forward to getting to Strathalbyn, another one of our street stages tomorrow. Of course, this debuted in 2021, and it's really grown from there. So popular was it that we've decided to do it a few times. Here comes Scott Pye, not in that one. I think he's in the second Urus, the one without the moustache on it. Yes, you did hear me correctly. The one without the moustache. This one does have a moustache. There it is. So this is number 20. Scott Pye is in number 19. I think it's the other Urus directly behind it. So a couple of Uruses going up. But how good is it to have not only Sandown 500 winner Scott Pye in our ranks, but also 4-time Bathurst 1000 winner Greg Murphy we'll see in a few moments' time as well.
Greg Murphy and his mate in the truck, the Repco promotional truck, and they have been bickering all weekend about who's doing the wrong thing in the car from stage to stage. They ran out of fuel. They went too fast. These tour groups are limited to 100 kilometres per hour, and very quickly rally headquarters let them know and sent them the bill.
Yes.
So the speed limiting aspects of these, that's not just a facade, that is for real. If these guys go too quick, they will get a bit of a chat, they'll get a fine, and if they continue to misbehave, they'll be removed from the event. So there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of being respectful to the community, because after all, they're kind enough to let us use their roads. And
Absolutely.
We really appreciate that, as we do the work of 400 volunteers to make this event happen.
Here we go. We've got a brand new Ferrari directly followed by Ferrari from the 1970s. How cool is that? So here we have the number 36. As I say, a really new Ferrari. It's Chen Xingwang in his Ferrari Roma from about 4 years ago. But this car, directly behind it, the Dino, the baby Ferrari from the 1970s. That's Tour follower 16, Carmine, also known as Michael, behind the wheel there.
Taladera.
If he's Dino 308 GT4. How cool is that? That really does show the diversity of this category.
It is terrific. And I mean, the diversity of the entire event is wonderful. Everything from the absolute committed competition category, the Rally Pro category, guys who spend most of their days in a car driving it flat out, to people who might own a nice car and they just want to stretch its legs on a closed road in complete safety, no one coming the other way, no being socially irresponsible. So full credit to the way these guys have behaved themselves, and I've not heard one bad word about any of the driver behaviour over the weekend.
And I've not heard one bad word from these fans either. They don't care about the rain. They are out there enjoying themselves. It is a bit gloomy, there's no doubt about it, but so cool to see so many people. Nick, we said when we got here, didn't we? We said, oh, we don't expect many people here this year, unfortunately. But there is. I'm so impressed by these hardy Adelaide fans, and I'm sure a lot of them will be at the final, the grand final of the Supercars Championship next weekend on the streets of Adelaide. But let's not forget, Nick, the big event early next year as well, the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival. Big announcements have already been made, and that's a perfect cue for it. McLaren, 2 former McLaren drivers, Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, will be coming to the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival next year.
Well, Tim never on to deliver, does he? He must just look through his phone book and he gives these guys a call, and the next thing they're on the Adelaide streets shaking hands with everyone. And that's one of the features of the event, is that it's so social. Everyone's so affable. You can walk up and shake hands with an F1 driver who's been your hero all your life, and they will be so accommodating. They're so welcoming. We've seen many of them go way over and above And I mean, look, on a different category, Craig Lowndes being probably the prime example. Like, he will just never knock back an autograph or
Correct.
a selfie or whatever. We saw that at Strath last year.
Listen to this.
Beautiful. Now that's one of the Zagamis in that car.
It is correct. You are bang on there. We are well into the Zagami Tour, Nick, and it is one of the Zagamis that owns that very vehicle that you are looking at on the screens. It's car number 47. It is Victor Zagami alongside Sophie Zagami in their 2023 Ferrari 812 GTS. Now this one, Nick, is a brand spanking new Ferrari. This is the not four-wheel drive, the all-wheel drive, the number 48 it is. And yeah, as I say, that is a brand new Ferrari. I'm not very good at pronouncing this one. I'll give it a bash. Puro Sangre, is that right? Puro Sangre?
Let me just practice, and then I'll come back to you. I'm not too bad with Italian, but I'll just have a good look at that one.
I'm a Pom, and you're an Aussie, and together we aren't too good with pronunciations of Italian. But I can tell you a lot about the vehicle, though, Nick. 5-door SUV, 6.5-litre V12 engine. And speaking of V12 engines, we've got another one roaring up the hill now. This is the brand new Lamborghini. This is a Lamborghini Revuelto. And boy, oh boy, does that look the part. I absolutely love the exhausts right in the middle of the rear end of this car. Look at it as it comes past the screen. Look at the exhaust right slap bang in the middle of the car.
That's a very menacing looking car, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it?
Now, Dan, we're going to go with Revuelto, and we'll go for Puro Sangre.
Okay.
For the other one.
Thank you.
That's our interpretation for today.
I even looked up how to say it, and I tried my best, and I still butchered it.
Not as hard as the Pagani Huayra from this year's Adelaide Motorsport Festival. That tested both of us.
Oh, what a car that was. One of the best sounding things I've ever heard, in fact, along with the Lexus LFA, as we have another old Ferrari just rising over the brow of the hill. I'm not sure we've even seen that one so far in this rally. Now, of course, so many cars to cover. Looks like the mirror's actually been knocked on that one, unfortunately, on the right-hand side. That is the number 65. This is certainly well before my era, a 400 GT, Nick. Yep.
They weren't the biggest selling Ferrari, and they were a bit frowned upon at the time. They didn't really hold their value all that well, but like everything else, their time comes and suddenly they're up they go. They become more and more collectible, and a really great shape, like front engine V12 Ferrari.
Car number 29. That is the Ferrari 488 GTB. That's Ferrari's first for real foray into turbocharged machinery in recent years. For many, many years, they wouldn't touch a turbocharger, but they have again in recent times. As we look at our next Tour leader 7, I think that said. So
17 or 7?
7. Tour leader 7 out there now. We're both looking through our notes, trying to see. That's the Mercedes Tour. So we've finished the Zagami Tour already. In fact, that probably gives us a great time to have a bit of a look at what the Mercedes Tour is all about.
Mercedes AMG Tour contains a huge variety of modern Mercedes products, from its supercars range, including the AMG GT, to its sports cars such as the C63, the A45 hot hatch, and the GLC 63S SUV.
Here we are back onto the stage with the Mercedes Tour. Through we see the first of the Mercedes cars going up the hill. And yeah, that is great to see. So many Mercedes, Nick. What do you like? Do you like the supercars, the sports cars, the hot hatches? Which one takes your fancy?
Like everything with a three-pointed star on it, Dan. They all look so good. Mercedes just have this presence about them. They have had forever, and they're just just beautiful cars. The interiors, in particular, and the current range of Mercedes, just superb. The way they're fitted out, the aesthetics in them, they're just gorgeous. I'm going to go for a 4-cylinder turbo for my next car. I've had my V8s, now I'm going to go for a 4-cylinder turbo.
I love a good little hatchback, that is for sure. The A45 is probably one of the picks of the bunch, don't you think? It's
very quick car.
Yeah.
Very quick car. It uses a different engine to their C300s, the sedans and coupes, and gets about 100 kilowatt jump on them because of it. So those cars, those hatches making about 280 kilowatts. So a pretty worthwhile bit of kit they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And here is another one, the GT, the AMG GT. This is the best performing supercar in the Mercedes range. I remember it sort of looks like its original iteration, doesn't it? The SLS that was around in the late noughties, and it very much still looks like an SLS, but the SLS is a bit of a showy car. It had the big gull-wing doors, and it used up tyres like they were going out of fashion. These days it's a much more refined product. They've let go of the gull-wing doors. Yes, it still produces a lot of horsepower, but it does so a little bit more subtly, and it's a lot more family-friendly, shall we say.
More user-friendly,
yes,
and
yes.
That one driven by Todd Hughes and Chris Morrison. Trying to get a number out of this car there.
As they continue to come through, they're just straight lining that chicane now, aren't they? Just roaring through. Here is one of my favourites. It's Lightning McQueen.
As Dan harks back to his childhood.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Daniel Scott behind, Lightning McQueen behind the wheel of that one. It doesn't have any eyes on it though, that's the only thing. It's a very good effort though. They've even got the Rusty's sticker on the bonnet. It's a real great tribute livery to a fictional character. There it is, Rusty's on the front. That was Lightning McQueen, fictional sponsor at the time. I'll be honest, Nick, I haven't even seen Cars 3. I was far too old to go and watch Cars 3, but the original 2, Cars 1 was all right, Cars 2 not so much. But yes, certainly Liam Lawson, who of course came to the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival a couple of years ago, he is a Cars fanatic. he watches it. He says he watches it every single week, and I've seen lots of people try and test his knowledge on the film, and I tell you what, he knows more about that film than anybody on the planet.
Should know, yeah.
I reckon he should go on Mastermind, and his specialty subject will be Lightning McQueen.
And now, we've found out since we last saw Liam Lawson that he's a singer-songwriter and guitar player. So next time we get him to the AMF, we're going to get him in to do a couple of songs with us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As we see the Porsche 997 RS take off. Let's listen to this as it goes over the brow of the hill. Oh, a bit ginger there, Nick, I think. In a Porsche, being rear-engined, if you start losing the rear end, it is hard to catch.
Dan, these cars have got so much wizardry in them that my son refers to it as hand of God, that protects the driver from making his own errors. They have so much smarts, so much software to enable the driver to drive the car quickly and safely without fear of messing up.
So we're now into the Porsche Center Tour, Nick. Porsche Center, tell us a bit about it, the brand.
The Porsche Center is now on Main North Road at Medindi. It's moved from Glen Osmond Road. And those guys, they've got the full range of Porsches. These days we have all kinds of iterations of Porsches, rear engine, mid-engine. There are some front engine cars out there as well. And these guys are going to be then followed by the Porsche Club. So I think that category has also probably doubled, Dan, since last year. You're seeing representation of all of their model range. And in these cars, you also find some pretty seasoned drivers as well. So people like Ormsby, who never holds back. And a few others. We're going to see Angus Sobels, for instance, who just went through seasoned competitor in this event in a classic Alfa Romeo in years gone by.
I don't think that rain's letting up, is it? We can see from that camera angle as the Celica course car heads up the hill. It is not relinquishing at all. It is raining as hard as it ever has here in the Adelaide Hills. We're not too far away from Mount Lofty, Nick, which is not only one of the, well, it is the highest point in South Australia, but it's also one of the most famous stages, is the Mount Lofty stage. A bit like one of our other spectator stages at Windy Point. Really, it's a distinctive one that they all want to win.
Yeah, it is. I used to love that stage because you're going uphill, and of course, you know, in heading uphill, you have the advantage of natural braking. As soon as you back off the throttle, the car slows down, so you can really push hard, and it's just a wonderful bit of road. It's got a fairly long straight in it with kinks all the way through it, but I still call it a straight. And the rest is just corner after corner after corner. It's uphill. You turn right into the Mount Lofty Summit Road. Then it gets even more twisty with a couple of corners over crests. And the actual finish of the stage is a crest. And, of course, you never waste a crowd and make sure you get a bit of air as you go over there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tour Leader 3 is next. And is it Vic Moore? No, it's not.
Well, it says it is.
Oh, yes, it is. Sorry. Yes, it just says book in the on the side. It
Jerry
is.
Burke.
Yes,
so
that's the
co-driver seat.
Yes, yep. That's where I got a little bit muddled there. Yes, it is indeed. Yep. And Vic Moore.
Go on, alongside. Vic, drive it like a school teacher.
He will.
Like Dan's school teacher.
Yes, indeed, indeed. I'm sure he will give it the beans up the hill, as he always does. A fellow competitor like yourself, Nick.
We had great fun competing against each other over the years in the rally, and Vic is just he's a Porsche freak. You just cannot separate the man from the brand. He's always got 3 or 4 Porsches in the stable, and they evolve. You know, that one goes and another one arrives. We can do a Porsche Club video actually to show you a bit more about their activities.
Then the Porsche Club Tour is for you. It contains machines made by the iconic German brand, from the legendary 356 SC made back in 1964 right up to present day machinery made over 60 years later. There's a great mixture of cars, old and new, something for every Porsche enthusiast.
There goes Vic Moore blasting up the hill over the brow of the crest there. Of course, we often refer to it, don't we, in motorsport as a crest rather than a brow. That is very much a rallying term there, Nick, that it gets used a lot, particularly in co-driving notes.
Brows are just the little ones.
Is that right? Is that the definition?
Brow is just a little one. You probably, you know, even if you did get a little bit of air on it, wouldn't matter. It's nothing to be afraid of. But of course, the important part about the note is what happens on or after the brow.
Yes.
So if it's an immediate 3 right afterwards, I'd like to know before the brow. So yeah, that's what the notes are all about. Look, they're described generally as pace notes, but a lot of people refer to them as safety notes for that very reason. Yes, they enable you to go quicker because you know what's 2 or 3 corners ahead, but also they prevent you from having the red mist set in and just do something stupid when there's a corner coming up afterwards that maybe tightens, catches you out, especially if the road's a bit shiny, and the only way you can brake because you're not in the right position on the road is to let the car lose traction a bit because the road's slippy. So
what I love about current day Porsches, this is the 2024 Porsche GT3, is you look at that and you go, how can they possibly make that look any better? How can they possibly make it go any faster? How can they possibly make it any louder? And year upon year they do that, don't they? Every year it's that little bit faster, a little bit louder, and somehow it looks better as well. And then you look at Porsches from 20 years ago and you look and you go, man, that looks old.
But how come you still look at them and go, that's a 911?
You do, don't you?
Even though they've changed every single characteristic of it, it's unmistakably a 911.
Yeah, I've said it many, many times. Non-car people can look at a Porsche and they know it's a Porsche. There's something about it that non-car people even can relate to that car. They know what it is. They won't be able to tell you a Lamborghini from a McLaren, from a Ferrari, but they can tell you what a Porsche looks like. They have a unique and distinctive look about them.
There's Anthony Sullivan in the 901 yellow car, the GT4. I think the last time I saw Anthony Sullivan in this event, he was in a white Boxster, so he's changed his mounts over the years. But yeah, Anthony's a really keen club motorsport competitor. He is always, oh gee, how long have I think over the last probably 10 years I've known him. He's always been in some sort of event every month or two in the Porsche Club.
Another one going up the hill. It is Shuyan in a Porsche Cayman, the 914 machine, so a Shuyan Neo in the 2015 Cayman. And I like that Neo even on the registration plate as well, Neo 888. That's pretty cool that you can get your name. My favourite one though this year has to be Rifat's. R number 1 and then Fat Rifat. It's really cool though. That's one of our Indonesian visitors. He says he's had to wait years for that because for many years there was 2 letters at the end of the Indonesian registration plate, so he's had to wait years to get that sorted, and he's absolutely delighted. He says he's only got that in the last couple of months. This car has been around for a few more than a couple of months. This has been around for over 60 years, Nick. 1964, the Porsche 356.
Of Tom Klaviniak. And Tom has been in probably maybe every Adelaide Rally, classic Adelaide Rally, since its inception, and probably in that car, I reckon. So 356 Super Carrera, 1600cc, wonderful, wonderful car in their day. Like everybody wanted one but couldn't afford them. And, you know, 1600 cc's, good horsepower, didn't weigh much, so very effective race car in their day.
So Porsche Club Tour certainly giving us a bit of a show. One of the great things about the Porsche Club Tour is the variety in age. A lot of these other tours, they're pretty much all modern stuff, but the Porsche Club Tour, certainly we got things from 60 years ago through to the present day. They really do have a great variety in and amongst that big pack of cars that we have.
That's right, Dan. It's right from 1964 for the 356C. And look at those brave spectators. Good on you guys. We appreciate you coming out here. You might feel a bit silly, but we think you're heroes.
Certainly do in conditions like this, that is for sure. I think we've come to the end of the Porsche Club Tour. So why don't we have a look at what is next? I'm just trying to find my notes to see what is next on our list of tours. I can guarantee you, Nick, it's going to be something good.
Absolutely. We have some very, very big tour fields too in this year's event. You know, upwards of 60 cars in some of these tour categories. So it doesn't matter which one it is. Darren Herring, a South Australian gravel competitor, just opening the stage for the next tour group.
I found it. It is the Ferrari Club. So let's find... no, I don't think we've got a Ferrari one. There's 10 cars, though, in the Ferrari Club, which is a new addition to the bill this year, Nick. How cool is it to have the Italian, the prancing horse brand here as part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally for the first time? And here they are lined up on the road already.
Dan, if you tell me what car it is, I'll try and give you an idea of the specification. That one, for instance, a TL19, that's a GTC4 Lusso. That is a front, has 6.3 litre V12. So about 500 kilowatts for that one, followed by car number...
That was a 488, I can tell you that was a 488.
488
That's in my era.
A twin turbo, nearly 500 kilowatts at 8,000 revs.
How cool does this look, though? The Lusso, as you say, very cool to have that a part of the event. A very new. What year is that one, Nick? The Lusso.
This one?
Yeah.
It's TL19, that is, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
That is 2020.
Yeah, there you go. This is not 2020. This is
No.
the mid-80s, I believe.
This is one when someone said to me, would you like to drive this home tonight? And I went, are you serious? Of course I did. The 308 GTSI. Is it the GTSI or the...
Yeah, the GTS, yes. Yeah. Behind that, we have the possibly best-sounding car here. The F12 is directly behind it. And further back, another old historic Ferrari. As it sweeps
Look
on
at that
through.
shape. That was a poster car. That 308 GTSI and the 4-valve, the Quattro as well. Surely they were in every kid's bedroom. You could get this really long landscape type poster, and that was one of the. And I remember, Dan, there was another poster called Decisions, and I think it was a Porsche 959, one of those, and a Lamborghini Countach. Had all three on the poster.
Yeah.
So you could spend your whole life confused as to which one you actually wanted.
So I think that's already the end of the Ferrari Tour, as you say, a small little tour, but brilliant to have it. Probably one of our most expensive tours, despite only being small in number. Up next, we have the Hyundai Tour, and this is a little bit of information about what we are set to expect in the next couple of minutes.
The relatively new Hyundai Tour continues to grow year upon year. It's made up of Hyundai end products built in the last 5 or 6 years. The i20N, i30N, i30N sedan, and even an Ioniq 5N will all be taken to the legendary Adelaide Rally stages.
Ah, yes, the Hyundai products. If you'd have said, Nick, 20 years ago, Hyundai, they'd become a performance brand that everybody wants to own one, you'd have laughed. You'd have said, Hyundai, cheap and cheerful. That's all they're good for. Not anymore, Nick. They've completely changed the way they go about making cars. These are cars that everybody desires to have.
Full credit to Hyundai as well, because one of the things that they didn't do was they didn't promote the car by discounting the price. They've always gone, this is a good car. They went for a better warranty, but they never market it in terms of, hey, we're cheaper than everybody else. And or you know, $5,000 off if you buy one today. That's never been their style, and it's paid off handsomely for them, because now we respect the brand. We know that their latest offerings are as technologically advanced as any other thing that you can buy. We know their performance cars are real goers. The i30Ns, the i20Ns, they've become leaders in the World Rally Championship.
Yeah.
And, you know, so Hyundai have built the brand by the proper playbook for how to make your brand successful, especially in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And now I've gone and I'm looking at a Hyundai i30N, just like this one on the screen, and going, yep, I think I want one of them. As you know, Nick, we've said it many times, I'm a hot hatch fan.
Yep.
Now I'm looking at these cars going, yep, I'd quite like myself an i30N at some point down the line. And there we do see one has just started off at the bottom there of the stage. But great that we've got a few circuit racing drivers that are in this class this weekend. And speaking of circuit racing, of course, you said about their, of course, they're not only in the Australian Rally Championship with Hayden Paddon, of course, taking out the Australian Rally Championship this year. They're also in World Rally Championship, but also moving into circuit racing, not only in TCR World Tour, but also next year with Genesis, the sort of luxury brand of Hyundai. They are entering the World Endurance Championship.
Wow, that is strong stuff.
It certainly is.
Brave. It's brave because, you know, you could easily tarnish your brand if you didn't know what you were doing going into that sort of thing. But clearly they have the track record now that they know how to manage the team and to go for a result, and they've got good people on board.
And their engine is effectively they're effectively, to put it in simple terms, it's not quite this simple. They're putting their two V4 WRC engines together to make a V8 So it's going to sound absolutely spectacular when it hits the racetrack for the first time next year. But we have moved on, Nick, to the Honda Tour now, full of, well, Hondas, and of course a Japanese brand that's been around for many years, and these are some of the earlier machines that they made. We just saw an S2000 as well, but of course their Honda Civic, the Type R, is another real hot hatch that is a big rival to the Hyundai i30s that we saw in TCR World Tour. They are two of the brands really fighting at the forefront of the hot hatch championship.
And Honda brand loyalty is equal to Porsche brand loyalty or Mercedes brand loyalty. They have just a customers for life kind of philosophy. You know, they sell you a little Civic when you're young, and then you buy an Accord, and then next thing you've got an SUV, and they have a customer for life philosophy, and people just love the brand, and rightly so, because they are a very reliable motor car, beautifully built, and you know, I'm sure their warranty bill would be the envy of many manufacturers because they are just so carefully put together.
Here we have Tour Leader 77. That can only be Mr.
11,
Green.
Tour Leader 11.
Sorry, what did I say? I meant 11. It's Nathan Green. I know that much. That is for sure. There it is. Confirmation. It is Nathan Green. I can't read numbers, Nick, but I can tell you who's driving it.
With a bit of sponsorship from Iron Chef Imports, Christian Appel, and you know, this whole JDM thing of bringing in Japanese cars. When did that start? 1985, and it just ballooned. It went out of all proportion. So this is just another example, the R32, and how collectible these cars have become. R32s, R33s, 34s. They are icon cars.
Oh, look at this, and instantly I think of Gentleman Jim and Mark Scaife in conditions much like this back in 1992, taking the great race victory to boos from the crowd. And what did Jim call them? Well, we can't actually say on air what he called them.
A pack.
He called them a pack of people, is what he said. But it was very nice 10 years later when he won with Mark Scaife again. He called them a pack of lovely people. He really made up for it 10 years later.
But that rain is really coming down now, Dan. You can see it on the screen in just one of those corners where we have the camera in the right spot. You can see just how thick it is. That's not easy. Although I've got to say, I'd rather drive in that than when it was shiny. Because this is a known quantity. You know what you've got.
Now, Nick, we've moved on now to the main tour. People will be watching going, well, these don't look like Ferraris or Lamborghinis. These look like what I drive at home. And you'd be correct. This is the main tour. This is for people like you and me. We've got our nice cars. We want to go out for 3 days and blast around the best Adelaide Hills roads. That's what the main tour's all about.
And the thing is, you want to do it in complete safety. You want to do it with the roads closed. You don't want to do anything socially irresponsible, like cross the white line and upset the guy coming the other way. So this is your chance to be socially responsible and have a ball in the car that, you know, might be your Sunday car, but the main tour is not timed. It's speed limited to 100 kilometres per hour. No roll cage, no helmet requirement. 57 cars, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, how many people want to go for a run in their car? And this is just proof of how relevant this event has become, because it provides the platform for people to go and enjoy their cars on. It's something they can look forward to. Sure, they might go and do 1 or 2 circuit sprints at Mallala or the Bend during the year, but to drive on a road has always been the favourite for me. And here's your opportunity.
Yeah. And people care about their products, which neatly brings us on to Bowden's Car Care products.
It does. I see what you did there, Dan. It's very good.
One of our sponsors of the event, Nick. They've been around for a number of years, and it's fantastic to have them a part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally again in 2025. They're not the only sponsor, of course. We do have another new sponsor, Acru Harris Orchard, an Adelaide tax-based accounting and business advisory firm that helps clients build and grow their businesses. So if you've got a small business and you want some advice on How to grow it, how to improve it. Well, Orchard Harris, or Crew Harris Orchard, sorry, are the people to go and visit.
And we saw the car of TL12, Peter Mayer and Patricia Meltzer in the yellow Cayman GTS 4 going through there. As we said, these cars coming through at 4-second intervals, so they're thick and fast. The grey Lexus just coming through now. I can't find it on my sheet. Yes, I can. It's Ilio Marinello and Tullio Marinello in the RCF Track Edition Lexus.
Look at that. It depends what side of the road you're on. Now, some people will go, do you remember that black Mercedes? That looked really nice, didn't it? And people will go, but black Mercedes? You mean white Mercedes, don't you? No, it's definitely black. Certainly, there's a couple of Formula One cars like that in the late 90s that, depending on what side of the road you're on, was a different sponsor.
Whether you were being passed by it or not. Yeah. So it probably identifies as a different car each day.
Yeah, that's right. And no surprise, on the entry list it's down as black and white, which is fair enough. As we can see, a bit of a different machine going through an older Toyota.
School Supra.
Yeah, proper old school.
That one being about 1988, I reckon. Unless I'm very much mistaken, car 318 is Richard Marshall and David Barrett in a 1986 Toyota Supra. It wasn't a bad guess.
Close enough, Nick. That's a jolly good effort from you. This next one on the line looks a bit older to me than that. This looks like a 70s Porsche. It's Tour Leader number 13 that is coming up next.
Now that's a bit weird because on my sheets it says that's a Mitsubishi Evo.
Oh yes, it does.
But it's not. It's Sean Bennett and Tom Gilbert who've both been involved in this event for many, many years, and I'd say it's probably replaced the Mitsubishi Evo which Sean Bennett recently sold. He had a Mackinnon, a black Mackinnon, and he was a bit sad to part with this, but it's probably Tom Gilbert's 911. He just had a bit of fun out in that. And that, look, there's Glenn Seaton, Dan.
Or Neil Crompton, which one is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it isn't. It's actually Craig Michael Moore. They're just going over the brow of the hill in the 332 machine. Craig sharing the car with Scott Rowe, and that is a 2000 Ford Falcon. It just looks like the one that raced in the very wet conditions at Bathurst that year. Of course, that was Garth Tander's very first Bathurst 1000 victory alongside Jason Bargwana for Gary Rogers Motorsport, of course. And sadly, in the recent weeks, we have lost the great man, Gary Rogers, who birthed so many stars in Supercars competition, from Garth Tander to currently James Golding, but let's not forget the likes of Scott McLaughlin, Jamie Whincup. The list goes on and on.
As we watch the Dodge Challenger Hellcat. So if 6.2 litres of American muscle isn't enough for you, probably best that we just supercharge it, put some flares on it and some even bigger wheels, and run about 535 kilowatts through it. I mean, what could go wrong, Dan? That's 275 kilowatts per tonne of car. That is a lot of horsepower. As we watch one of the unique cars of the event, a Morgan 8, a Morgan Aero 8 with a 4.4 litre BMW V8, nice engine down it, and 270 kilowatts at just under 1,200 kilos in weight. So that car weighs about as much as my MX-5.
Weighs about as much as my fingernail.
With 270 kilowatts. That's going to be a ball of fun. That's more than double what the MX-5 has.
That's insane. That's insane. Look at that, trying to get traction off the line. The BMW squirming all the way up the hill. It's a gradual rise up towards the brow of the hill. It really is a rise, isn't it, Nick, all the way through this stage.
Yeah, and look, Dan, we talk about these cars being speed limited to 100 kilometres per hour. Do you think they'd be sad about that at the moment? No, not at all. They'd be quite happy to cruise through here at 80 and be proud of themselves. It is very wet.
There's one of your 4Cs that you love.
Alpha 4C, mid-engined Alpha. Very pretty shape. Beautiful looking car.
It certainly is.
And that is
Golf GTI, not an R. We've had a few R's this weekend, haven't we? But that is a GTI. from around about 15 years ago, I
The
reckon.
class-leading hot hatch, the benchmark for hot hatches, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They've certainly got some rivals though these days, haven't they?
They
But
have.
as you say, it really was the OG, the original hot hatch, as we turn our attention to the final car in the main tour, the Volvo S60, made famous by Scott McLaughlin in these very streets, or the very streets of the Adelaide 500 circuit, when he got a bit excited after beating Jamie Whincup at the final corner and let out the F word live on TV. And that really did send him to superstardom, of course, now racing for Roger Penske in the IndyCar Championship and doing a mighty fine job. It certainly wasn't his year in 2025, but I'm sure Scott McLaughlin will come back swinging next year.
It was pretty hard, wasn't it, Dan, when we motorsport fans and car guys had to watch a Volvo winning a motor race that was previously dominated by Holden and Ford V8s, and all of a sudden some guy in a Volvo is winning. We thought they were for bank managers, and but yeah, Volvo these days are a very, very different brand to their old image, where they purely promoted safety, and they were always heavier than everything else out there with less power. Now they're not that way anymore.
No.
They're a quick performance car, and of course they've got a really diverse range as well.
I'll tell you when I think that changed. I think that changed when they got involved in super touring motor racing in the late 90s, when they got involved mainly in the British Touring Car
BTC,
Championship. But let's not forget they also did super touring here in Australia as well, and did win one of the Bathurst 1000s under the super touring regulations. But it really was in the British touring cars, particularly in the estate car, I think, where they really made a name for themselves. And Nick's pulling a face here in the commentary
cringing.
box. You weren't a fan.
No,
It was a cult classic, Nick. A cult classic.
that's your interpretation of it, Dan. and you hold that thought. Hang on to it. No, never went for race. My son races in improved production, and there's a wagon racing in that, and I just cannot relate to that either.
What we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit of a package. We spoke to many drivers on Thursday, and yeah, this is what a couple of them had to say.
To the Adelaide Rally 2025, I'm here with Ino and Riff, all the way from Indonesia. Guys, welcome to Australia, welcome to the Adelaide Rally.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is nice here. Thank you.
The weather is good. I love it. The city. I really love it.
We love the city.
Yeah.
We love the
With the
crowd. And then the weather is so different from our country, so it's nice.
Not quite as humid as Indonesia.
Yeah, and it is cooler.
Cooler, yeah. Cooler is good. Now, you've been here for a few days now. Have you had a chance to look at the Adelaide Hills roads?
Yeah, we already doing the recce, and yeah, it is very different from our country road.
Yeah.
So maybe we're gonna have to apa ya?
Adapt.
Well,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to adapt first with the first special stage maybe.
Yeah.
First special stage we focusing on getting to know the car, getting to know how the road feel and how I will drive the whole event. So maybe, yeah, but it is nice. The track all is nice. It's a different from Indonesia. So yeah, it's a nice experience, new experience for us both, because we are young. So this is a new start.
Pull the yellow thing, it'll be easier.
Now, I know you've done a number of events this year.
Yeah.
When you're rallying in Indonesia, is it mostly gravel events that you're doing over there?
mostly gravel, but there's one event. It's tarmac, but there's only for special states. So it call it sprint rally in
It's
Indonesia.
a short rally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Compact rally. And it is not on the road. It's in like the
Parking.
like the stadium.
Yeah, in the
parking lot.
stadium, the parking lot.
That's the track, not
Yeah.
on road.
Nah. Yeah.
Well, it makes for very good viewing for the spectators, and it's also easy to put on TV and so on.
Yeah.
Nearly 300 million people in Indonesia,
Yeah.
and 17,000 islands.
Yeah.
Where do you have your rallies? Is it all centrally located, or do you visit different islands?
We are visit different island, but to even it's in our hometown. Is it in Medan? So 6th event it's
In Java.
in Java.
It's the central island in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So the 6th event in Java, maybe it is across all the Java, across many city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice, and so this will be our last event together because I'm going back to school next year. So this is just a nice ending for our.
I think we call it
we call it the last dance.
the last dance.
This is our last dance.
Yeah, of two of us.
Well, with so many people in your country, what's it like trying to get started in rallying? Is it really popular over there, or is it a sport that is still growing in Indonesia?
I think in Indonesia it's already popular, but so many people want to start it but don't know how to start it.
Yeah.
So I think Indonesia is the most popular rally in Indonesia.
I say it is not growing in Indonesia. It's already been set.
Yeah.
Like the rally, the people all already set. Like all good. And then if people want to start rallying in Indonesia, maybe because car is expensive in Indonesia. So yeah, maybe that's just one of the reason. Yeah, one of the problem why is it not that easy to start rallying in Indonesia.
Now, we've got three brands here. We've got Mitsubishi, we've got Toyota and Mazda. Why the preference for Mazda? Is there a connection there for you?
No, because this is our EP4. It's the only we drive Skoda in Indonesia. We drive a Rally 2 in Indonesia, but here because Rian also have a Rally 2, so we just want to make it all EP4. So the three of us use EP4, so that's why we picked the Mazda 2.
Is that just to keep you all on equal footing, is it? Just to even the power up? So you can have a good dice over the weekend?
Yeah.
Guys, it's great to have you here. A warm welcome from everyone in South Australia and Australia. The Indonesian contingent is very, very strong this year. I just saw the group photos. There's a lot of you. And I hope you have a fantastic last dance in Adelaide and enjoy those hills roads, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So great to have Moreno and Reeve here as part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally this year. Unfortunately, they've had a few electrical problems in this wet weather today, and they haven't seen every stage, unfortunately. But a bit of a shame for them. They've been rallying together since they first started, and their last dance together, as they're referring to it.
And they're 20 and 21, Dan. They're very, very young guys. And Reno's saying that he's going back to school. I'm not quite sure what he meant by that, but obviously some sort of university program ahead of him. Look, got to say that he did step up, didn't he? He improved stage by stage, and he was in there kicking and screaming by the time he had problems, and it set him back in the field. So, but lovely guys, as I said about all the Indonesian guys who came over. Really approachable guys, very, very friendly, and they just love rallying.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a feature of rallying as a sport. You don't generally find people who have a chip on their shoulder. You don't find people who are pretentious. It's a little bit more grounded, perhaps, than some other forms of motorsport, where people can become a little bit aloof and a bit wrapped up in themselves. You don't tend to find that in rallying. Everybody's enjoying the experience, and they're enjoying competing with each other, and more often than not, if someone has a problem, one of the other crews will help them out. It's that kind of community.
Yes, absolutely it is. But yeah, it's so good to have so many Indonesians here. In fact, I have, Nick, in the last few minutes received an update based on the stage results from this one. So after stage 21, this was stage number 20. So this is after the stage after this one. Hayden Padden continues to lead the way, 1 minute and 42 seconds ahead of Alex Rouleau. Oscar Matthews remains in third position. Redhead Josh Redhead has now pulled out a 13-second lead over Frank Kelly, a further 1 minute ahead of Stuart Reid. Glenn Nerwin is best of the Indonesians. He is in position number 7. What a day he's had, moving up 4 positions, no less. Tom Dermody is in position number 8. Nick Strakheisen is in position number 9. And Andre Lukács in 10th. Sunkar has stayed out of trouble, despite having a few teething issues with power steering and it cutting out on him a few times as well in the actual engine when he gets too low in the rev range. Our Indonesian friend, unfortunately, has had a few mechanical issues there as well. He is still in position number 12. He continues to finish stage after stage despite the teething issues.
That's so good, and that'll be so well received at home on social media, and that's a wonderful thing for South Australia as well. Now, Dan, you mentioned that was the stage after this one.
Yes.
That's called Leeward Gardens, but for those of you who are locals, think in terms of the Eagle on the Hill Road, and they were running down. Now, I love that stage going up.
Yeah.
Going down, I'd love to have a crack as long as the road was perfectly dry. But today, I think I'd be a little bit cautious going down Eagle on the Hill Road, because that would be a challenge. And if the car decided to break traction a bit, you'd be straight into the Armco or across a curb. So very unforgiving for only a couple of minutes of road.
I noticed that Moreno's teammate actually has moved up a position since they were in this stage. Nirwan has moved up to 7th ahead of Tom Dermody, so that's a change of position, 7th and 8th. Who'd have thought that those two would be racing against each other this year?
You couldn't get two more unalike motor cars, could you?
No.
One's an Irishman who lives in Queensland, and the other guy, but didn't Ryan say that he lived for 10 years in Australia?
He did, yes. But his first time ever racing, as he refers to it, internationally. So back here he refers to as international. First time ever racing internationally, and also first time racing on tarmac as well, Nick. And I have to say, I've been very impressed. Stage by stage, he's been getting better and better. He might be the Indonesian rally champion, but jumping from gravel to tarmac is not an easy thing to do.
It's completely different art. And I mean, just to give you an idea, when you're driving on gravel, the car is never straight. It lacks traction all the time, so it's constantly in a state of wheel spin, and you're just steering the car with the throttle and the brake, positioning it in such a way that it will slide through a corner and come out straight. Tarmac is the complete opposite. You try so hard to keep the car dead straight and not get wheel spin and not lose time. It's not so much a case of making up time, it's just not losing any time. So he's adapted really well to that. And the stage that they have left for today, Dan, is Windy Point. Fortunately, they're going up, not down. But I'm just going to check and see whether they are doing that stage right now.
While you do, we saw the Ford Escort driven by Frank Kelly sliding up this stage a few minutes ago. Let's find out a bit more about the man himself.
And I'm down here with one of the world's most flamboyant rally drivers, Frank Kelly, and his co-driving daughter, Lauren. Guys, welcome back again to Australia.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here. You've even brought the sunshine out.
It's just what I was going to say.
We do our best. Lauren, when all of this started, I think you were studying media, and you chose to put a camera in the car and turn your dad into a global sensation. How did that all come about?
Accidentally is how it come about. It seems like not that long ago, but technology's progressed so much since. The first camera you gave me was one of your old onboard cameras. It was a
Sony Handycam.
A big Handycam that took a tape. At the time, that tells you how old that was. And it just started whenever I was eventually old enough to go watch rallying. Started filming a few bits and pieces, just threw things together. YouTube was only just sort of started at the time, and it just took off from there. None of it was intentional, it just happened by accident, and here we are almost 20 years later, the other side of the world.
And we're thankful that you did, by the way, because those videos have been entertaining us for a long time. 70,000 followers on YouTube, Frank. And Lauren, the tagline, fast, sideways and mental, was that your work?
The title just was your idea, because it just describes you in 3 words, doesn't it?
So many people had said that phrase to me over the years. It's sort of stuck. It's a bit like Baby Blue. It wasn't my idea either. Just people started to say it and it stuck.
The video is what it says on the tin. It's just all of his most fast, most sideways and most mental moments.
When I was competing in my Escort in this rally, and you were a part of it, they did a driver's briefing, and Cameron Waring got up to tell us to pull our heads in and behave, and he said, "Don't try to drive like Frank Kelly, he's mental." And they were his exact words. So, Frank, you've competed in many, many countries now all over the world. In fact, you even did a rally called the Escort Rally Special in Belgium, which is all Escorts, and I think you had a couple of wins in that. Tell us about that event. What's it like to go out with a whole field of Escorts?
Well, it was the brainchild of Christophe Jacob in Belgium, who's a fantastic guy and a very fast man himself in a BDG Escort. And he just had this idea that there was enough Escorts worldwide to run them as a single mark in a rally. So it was a brainchild of his. I think 2018 was the first one.
Yeah, I think.
And he invited, well, he didn't invite me. He sort of threatened if it didn't come, he'd never speak to me again. So we went not really knowing what we're going to come up against. Belgium is notorious for tight, twisty, slippy stages. But it was in the south of Belgium, they're more like Ireland. Beautiful stages. Beautiful rally, unbelievable experience. 118 Escorts of all kinds, shapes and sizes turned up, and we were so lucky to win it. And it's one of my treasured trophies, is the first Escort Special trophy, and we won it again in 22, maybe 21, something like that. We've been top 3 2 or 3 times. It's skipped a year now, but we think it's coming back for 26, and I'll be the first name on the entry list, hopefully.
Fantastic. I might have to go and might have to see my travel agent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Frank, 7 million people in Ireland, and we get the impression that they're all rally mad. Is that actually the case? How healthy is rallying in Ireland? How often do you have events, and what sort of fields do you get?
I would say 6,999,000 are rally mad. It's very much a cult following in Ireland. We're so lucky to have such great stages, so many competitors. And for a small island, most rallies start with 150 competitors minimum. Wow. And you'll have a reserve list for that. So it's hard to get rally entries, but we get all shapes and sizes. It's a great community, a bit like yourselves, great vibe around here. We bring it to the people. We get embraced massively wherever we go, which is humbling. But we're very lucky in Ireland, and we get to rally in other places also.
Well, the one thing that I want to ask you, because I think everybody who rallies has this moment in their life. You would have grown up watching the Circuit of Ireland, Russell Brooks, Pentia Ricola, Billy Coleman. Was there a particular driver or moment that actually made you go, I've got to do this, this is me?
Well, back in the day, as you mentioned, all the local drivers, Bertie Fisher, Austin McHale, all the really fast guys that you grew up with. When Ari Vatanen arrived in Black Beauty, that was basically the end. There's nothing more to be said after that. It was just, we have to have one of those. It took 25, 30 years to get there, and people often ask me, why don't I move on to a four-wheel drive? I have so much fun. I feel sorry for the guys in R5 cars, I really do.
Lauren and Frank, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here and to have you back. We're pleased that you're making Australia your second home now, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you on behalf of all the Escort punters and all the rally fans in SA.
Well, thank you. It's been great, and thanks everybody for the great reception and everybody that's helped us to get here, including KRS Racking and Kinetics. Without people like that, we just couldn't do it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a pleasure it is to have them a part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally. You haven't missed much at all, just a couple of cars gone up in the Spirit Tour. Spirit Tour is the spirited drive. It's all about pushing the limits a bit more. That was the most air we've seen, full stop. That was 4 wheels well into the air. That was absolutely bonkers from the BMW driver. 414 is the person at the helm of this BMW, Troy Hemmerling, the absolute superstar. That was Frank Kelly-esque, Nick.
And I missed it, Dan. I missed it. I was looking for my sheet. But Troy Hemmerling, thank you very much for that. The spectators who've been standing in the rain for the last hour will gratefully thank you for that. You've made their day.
Absolutely. That was absolutely insane over the brow of the hill. Colin McRae would have certainly enjoyed that one. I just showed Nick a little bit of a replay of that. That was spectacular. As we see up next, Jamie Coleman, 4.15. Oh, just clipping the bollard there. Is he going to go flat out? Oh, not quite as much air. I think he went flat out, but just didn't have the terminal velocity, the speed that the BMW did that launched the car into the air.
They're doing a great job, these guys. They're limited to 120 kilometres per hour, and they're using all of it. They enjoying the fact of being 30 seconds apart, so they get to not catch each other and have a proper run, proper lunge at this stage. You're certainly not going to make 30 seconds on someone in 800 metres of road, but it is a good 800 metres down, and that's the nature of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally, that they put technical, tricky stages together rather than just fast, straight roads that fast cars win. This is all about driver skill. As the pink car comes through again, great livery, this car. It actually has come up really well. Looks terrific.
Certainly
it's
has.
The car of Josh and... I missed it.
No, I thought it... oh, no, maybe not. You could be correct. Through comes the Subaru. 417 is the number. Yes, you are right. Josh Kent and Samuel David. You were correct. 418 is next. Dean Dallavale and Louis English. These two have been driver and co-driver next to each other for a good number of years, and that broke the bollard, actually. That was such a hit there. The rubber at the bottom that keeps the cone on the ground has been dismounted from the cone itself with the force of the impact there. The Spirit Tour, Nick, I said just before I was interrupted by the big air moment we saw a couple of minutes ago, it is a more serious competition. Although it's not timed, these guys are pushing the limits. They've got crash helmets. They are pushing 110%. And this is a bit of a dip your toe in the water, pardon the pun in these conditions, but dip your toe in the water for potentially moving up into one of our timed classes in years to come.
It is. And I mean, when you've driven through here at 120 kilometres an hour, you'll know pretty quickly whether this is really the sport for you or not, because you're either going to be backing off and saying, no, this is just, no, I'm not in this, or you're going to be wanting more. You're going to be enjoying the fact that you're in full concentration mode, the adrenaline's flowing, you're trying to go maximum attack. You've got a co-driver next to you who's trying to make it as easy as he can for you to go through it. And you can see there you've got water flowing across the road, so you've got to deal with a lot of those things today. That wouldn't be the only place that's happening. This is just another tier to make up your mind whether you want to go forward or back.
Absolutely, as this car will very much be going forward at a rapid rate of knots. Oh, it sounds so good, doesn't it? Absolutely fantastic. That's Dan Standish, who, again, another one who's been in this class for a good number of years. The same can be said for a lot of these competitors. Daniel Kaliz has been in this category for a number of years. So has Ben Auld, Willa Warcho, Paul Caffin. These are all names that you'll be familiar with if you regularly watch the Shannon's Adelaide Rally. Dan Standish, Nick Papis, Jared McGaffin. He's always got the Subaru Impreza with the funny thing on the roof that we see year after year. But the 440 machine of Russell Muldoon we're looking at the moment in the Porsche Cayman GT4.
These cars are so well behaved. Like, you know, you can drive an Escort flat out by overcoming all its idiosyncrasies and weaknesses, but these modern cars are so good at this. It's made this kind of motorsport accessible for everyday guys because the cars are so good, and you can do it once or twice a year. Just getting a little bit of getting the Subaru just a little bit loose there. Probably enjoyed that because it just set it up a bit and gave it the entry to the next corner.
You're talking about how good these modern machines are in conditions like this. The only limiting factor is the tyres, and that's why we recommend here at the Shannon's Adelaide Rally SA Motorsport Tyres. The South Australian business supplies tyres based in Dudley Park. They are the team that we recommend.
Mark Povey is your man. Terrific driver. Big heart. Very brave man in a Datsun Stanza on gravel, and just great to watch. I've had the pleasure of watching him a number of times on stages, and he's just recently married Naomi. And where would you go for your honeymoon if you're a rally fan? Finland, of course. And it would happen to be the week that the Rally of Finland is on. So
it wouldn't be, would it?
Oh, look at that.
That's a coincidence. Didn't mean that.
No, I can guarantee it would have been a joint decision that those two went there. There'd be no holding them back. So we see the Mustang come through.
It's a car you wouldn't see so much on those Finnish roads.
No. Car 426 is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10 of Mark Ciccarello and Damiano Pennina. Good choice for this kind of situation. All-wheel drive, turbo. Car that's been built around rallying through all of its life. A product, in fact, of world rallying.
Here is McGaffin. As I say, we sometimes wonder what that is on the roof as it blasts up the hill, flashing. Look at the lights flashing. We can't see. It's like being at a disco or a night out in town. Oh, huge air. That's a tremendous amount of speed that's being carried into that corner. They are absolutely pushing. I'm blinded, Nick. I can't even see the car.
If you watch closely, you can see the Subaru's understeering through these very, very wet corners. It's a controlled thing. They know it's going to happen, and they know that it won't wash out. It's just going to, and they'll control that just with their throttle and maybe even a bit of left foot brake. But you can just see the all-wheel drive cars just pushing a little bit at the front.
Yeah, absolutely, they are. We turn our attention now to a BMW M products. Again, one of the more modern machines. This one from about 10 years ago. Looks to me to be an M2 as we look at the 407 machine.
It's the one of David Thompson and Lee McIver.
There goes the rubber from the bottom. I said the rubber came loose. Well, now it's somewhere in the trees.
Good sound.
Yeah.
Good audio.
Very good. And a big tail happy moment there through the long loaded right-hander, putting the power down, and again it lets loose in the rear end. The photographers there in the prime position to get the brilliant action shot of that car sliding sideways. We've now got bits of rubber from the cone all around there as Nick Pappas goes through that chicane in his Toyota GR Yaris. I've got to say, Nick, we've seen a few Yaris's on these stages over the last couple of years, but how many have we got this year? It's got to be one of the most popular cars. I think the Impreza's probably the most popular. This would be a close second.
It is, and they've grown really well. The one of those Yaris's, the GR Corolla Maurizio, is the car that John Paul Drake is driving, and that is about double the price of a normal Corolla Yaris. It's got more horsepower, it's lighter, it's got carbon fibre panels. So that's a real specialty thing. But again, rallying breeds these kind of specialty cars, and it's we're happy that it does, because it enables these guys to go out and have an absolute ball.
Old school, turning back the clock with this one, aren't we? The ED Falcon XR8.
Michael and Taj Hatswell, and this you'd want to be a little bit discreet in this through here. We'll just keep it on the line, shall we?
There's certainly a few puddles now, aren't there, around this circuit. You can tell I'm a circuit racing commentator by nature. I can't believe it's taken me that long to make that mistake. Here is Daniel Kaliz, Motorsport Media Identity gun photographer, and Shane alongside of him this year. This man can drive as well as take photos, I can assure you of that, and he absolutely loves this event. He does not miss it year after year, always in the Spirit Tour behind the wheel of his Toyota Gazoo Yaris. He's certainly not giving it the full flair and flamboyance that we normally see from him in these wet conditions. I think he's erring just slightly more on the side of caution, but I'm sure on the streets of Strathalbyn tomorrow he'll certainly put on a show for us. It's going to be hot, it's going to be dry, we can promise you that tomorrow.
It's going to be a beautiful day. there'll be a collection of cars in the show and shine for Horsepower Group down on the grassy banks of the Angus River. We'll be up just above that, so I'll go down and chat to some of those guys, and also to James, who's running that event, and we'll cover all the rally action for you for their 2 runs through the Super Special stage in Strathalbyn, and we'll have a whole lot of things. We'll interview some spectators, we'll interview some drivers while they're lined up to do their run through the stage, and hopefully we can make you feel like you're there. But if you really want to be there, just head down to Strathalbyn. It's a fantastic day out, loaded with cafes and pubs and antique stores, motoring museums, classic car dealerships. There's so much to see for the whole family, not just rally enthusiasts.
Also the show and shine, Nick.
The show and shine is going to be good, and we'll actually we will live stream the awards when they're announced for the show and shine. So those guys will not only get a trophy, but they'll be on the live stream. So
yeah, that's
good stuff.
Horsepower Crew, the Horsepower Crew, not a traditional car club or cars and coffee style social group. It's for motoring enthusiasts, so it doesn't matter what your background is, you are welcome in the in Horsepower Crew, and they've invited quite a few of their coffee style cars and coffee people down to take part and be judged by not only the Horsepower Crew themselves, but also by Scott Pye.
Aha. Scott Pye, supercar driver. The first time we ran in Strathalbyn was in 2023, and the Alexandrina Council asked us back. We didn't ask them. They said, this is so good, we want you back. We came back, and this year it's actually going to be even bigger with the stage being run twice. It brings a benefit to Strathalbyn of around $200,000 in spend over the weekend, and in the week prior to the rally, with drivers and co-drivers going down and doing their recce, buying a pie from the bakery, as is mandatory when you're doing recce. You've got to do a bakery tour. But the Alexandrina Council have supported the event, paying for the barriers that go into position. And once again, it's just safety being the highest priority in this event, and making sure that the drivers are safe, the spectators are safe, and that we continue to work towards our Mission Zero vision statement, that no one gets the worst case scenario in this kind of event.
Absolutely.
It is a dangerous sport by nature, but we try to control the risks as best we can.
Now, Nick, you talked about the economic benefit that it brings to the town of Strathalbyn, $200,000 annually. This whole event brings an economic value into the state of $7.1 million. And that was stats from a couple of years ago, Nick. That was when we had 300 cars. This year, we have 488. So the economic value with so many interstaters, and now, of course, Nick, internationals coming back to this event as well. The economic footprint will be bigger still as Nick clobbers the bollard further still in his Audi RS6, I think that is. But yeah, it really does bring huge economic value to the state.
Absolutely. We'd be pushing $10 million benefit to the state now. And, when you have things like what's happening with our Indonesian connection now, you wouldn't be able to calculate that spend on tourism, because you've now got people watching this in Indonesia, sharing it with their friends in Indonesia and saying, hey, we've got to go over this. All our mates are going over. We're going to go and watch them now. And, of course, we're going to welcome them and embrace them and say, hey, welcome to the biggest tarmac rally on the planet.
Dougal Downer giving it one of the biggest pushes we've seen so far. I'll tell you what, I reckon that's faster than most of the competition class cars we saw. That was so committed.
That was a pretty good jump, Dan.
Oh, it certainly was. That Datsun 260Z has never been so high, I tell you. It was like jumping off the cliff at the edge of Mount Lofty. That was going something. I've seen aircraft fly lower than that. So that really was quite a jump, wasn't it? Really good effort from Dougal. Looking forward to seeing him in Strathalbyn tomorrow.
Yes, he'll be trying to get the chocolates in Strathalbyn with a bigger audience than what we've got today.
This is another driver who puts on a show. We saw him put on the old handbrake turn, didn't we, earlier on today at Hermitage. If you want to, you can check out all of the previous stages that we have already live streamed, not only this year, but over the last 4 years as well. So head on to the Adelaide Rally YouTube or Facebook page to see all of the action. We brought you 2 stages yesterday from Cherryville and also this morning stage from Hermitage as well.
And we know, Dan, that people are watching the stage, the live stream, after it's completed.
Yeah.
Because our viewing audience actually tripled from the number of people who watched it while it was live. More than double the number watched it afterwards, and that's actually gone up since we even checked that stat.
Correct.
So it's great that you can go back to it, and I'm sure a lot of those people would have been guys who were in it going, hey, I want to go and see myself on TV.
We're talking about the past. Let's talk a little bit about the future, Nick, because later on this afternoon, the Gucci Street Party will take place. The first cars are arriving there already, I've just seen on Facebook, and there has just been a post made, and we should make this very plain and clear. The post says, despite the rain, the Gucci Street Party is still going ahead. So we really do highly advise you to head down there, see all of these cars, not only these cars here up close and person, but also the competition class cars, the Rally 2 cars, and the challenge cars as well. Make sure you head to the Gucci Street Party. There's a great atmosphere. There's DJs down there. All of the bars, all of the restaurants, they are all open. It's a real atmosphere down there. And despite the weather, it is still going ahead. We urge you to head down there. It is quite something, Nick, to end Saturday night the way we do down there.
Yeah, it is marvellous. And I've got to say, as a driver, when you completed this day and you drove into Gucci Street and you had lines of people both sides of you and you were driving in between them, you actually felt like a superstar, even though I wasn't. But you did feel like a superstar, and it is a real hoot of a night. You thoroughly enjoy it if you get down there. The vibe is sensational.
If you are watching, just tuning in, and you're thinking, oh, some of these cars aren't that fast, well, stay with us. We have the challenge class, timed class coming up straight after this. So we're about to get serious again in a few moments' time. So make sure you stay with us. Of course, Nick, 12 months ago, we were saying Tim Possingham and his team have a big announcement. They wouldn't tell us what it was. We did not know that all these Rally 2 and competition class cars were going to join us this year from all around the world. So he certainly kept his cards close to his chest. But boy, was it worth the wait when that news dropped that we'd have so many Rally 2 and AP4 class cars here this year.
It is. I mean, for me especially, you know what a rally tragic I am, Dan, and I love it. I've been all over the world to watch rallies, so it's just great to see these guys here, and it's so good to see them loving South Australia and saying, you know, the young Indonesian guys, Marino and Riff, they said, we love your city. They said that to us about 5 times. We love your city. It's so nice here. Because, of course, they're used to huge cities, 300 million people. It's hectic. They loved it here. They could move around freely. It wasn't too hard to get to places or to get to the hills in 15 minutes to some of the best roads in the country. Fantastic stuff. Sterling Moss, when he drove in this event some years back, commented that Coromandel Valley Road was one of the best roads he's ever driven on in his life.
Yeah, right.
And he's driven a few.
Oh, certainly
including the Mille Amelia, for instance.
But this is now the biggest tarmac rally in the world. We've surpassed the Mille Amelia event, so this is now the biggest tarmac event in the world. Incredible that it is right here in Adelaide, and we have to thank the South Australian government for backing this event, supporting it over the last few years and continuing to do so as it continues to grow in popularity.
Fabulous, worth so much to the state, but not only that, it's what it does to promote the state overseas that you just can't buy.
Yeah, correct, absolutely.
Because people will queue up to watch this sort of action where they wouldn't read an ad for South Australia in a book. They'll be watching this and go, hey, I've got to go there. Where is it again? And next thing they're here you know, occupying our hotels, spending money in our restaurants, renting cars, you know, and just generally supporting the state with tourism dollars, which is so critical.
Yeah, exactly right. Or a bit more refined drive, this one. There's quite a puddle there now, quite a river of water, just in that left kink, just before the right-hander that I've seen. And it'll certainly be quite interesting to see how our challenge class competitors approach that one in the next couple of minutes, as we see a good old-fashioned Mercedes. We're turning back the clock with this, don't we? Peter Barry and Sean Edwards in their 1970 Mercedes-Benz 280 SL, which is right towards the end of our Spirit Tour, which means we're about to get serious, but we're still a couple of minutes away from that.
Gorgeous car. Known as the Pagoda roof because of its very Japanese roof shape. And here's another beautiful blast from the past, Dan, a big Healey. Big 6-cylinder front-engine Healey. They were a rally winner in their day, but man, that's an old car. That is a 50s car.
Yeah, 1957, the oldest car in the rally here this year. Last year it was 1964. It was that Porsche 356, but that has been surpassed by 7 years. So yes, this is by far and away further 7 years older than the previous record setter. How cool though to have that a part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally, and it's running strongly, it's running smoothly. British makes had quite a reputation in that era for not being the most reliable, but it's done a lot better than some of the other cars this year.
Not saying anything. No,
that'll come back and haunt me now.
Don't forget that I ran a Ford Escort. I know all about. I know all about that.
Oh, here's another old classic, Nick.
The Mustang-shaped Celica, very sought-after car in their day. Every Celica has been a sought-after car. They had a happy knack of getting the styling right every time.
Car's running well, the headlights not so much. Only one functional headlight on the front of that, but not the only one. I did see one of the 944s, one of the pop-up headlights wasn't working, so clearly some rains got in the wiring, I think, and caused that to occur as the Toyota GR Yaris attacks the hill now straight through the chicane. And this is the final car, Nick, in the Spirit Tour, and it is Nick Hancock, and alongside of him, Tim Russell, 2023 Toyota GR Yaris. A silky, smooth run up the hill as the safety delegate now takes his climb up this stage. Now, Nick, I've seen a lot of reports on social media in the last few minutes, and I think we do need to talk about it. There has been some sad news in the last couple of hours. It's all over social media. Unfortunately, Australian or Canadian legend has resided in Australia for many, many years. In the recent hours, Alan Moffat has sadly passed away, so we send condolences to the Moffat family, a true legend of motorsport in these parts.
He was very much the gentleman, Alan Moffat, always very polite and composed on camera, and very gracious in interviews, but a fierce competitor. And look, Peter Brock might never have had the notoriety that he did without Moffat at his heels all the time, keeping him honest. And it made both of them absolute superstars of the sport. The Holden Ford battle, the GTHOs, Tiranas, that was probably the biggest period in touring car racing in Australia, that dogfight of Moffat and Brock. And sadly, over recent years, he has suffered dementia, and even Jackie Stewart, you know, world champion, whose wife has suffered the similar disease, was a big supporter of Moff, and you know, together they did some work for dementia to raise awareness of the cause. But very sad news for motor racing fans in Australia. But as Dan said, our condolences to the Moffat family, and we hope that they can get through this very well.
Absolutely. Well said there, Nick. Yeah, a legend of not only touring cars, but also anything he jumped into, whether it was in sports sedans. He was a gun behind the wheel of anything. So, yeah, we do send our condolences to the family. He'd love an event like this, wouldn't he? The Adelaide Rally is right up his street.
Yep, he would. And he drove everything. He drove GTHOs, he drove Ford Sierras, Porsches.
Yeah.
He went to places like Sebring for endurance races back in the day. Yeah, he was a very travelled, very capable character.
And one of his sports sedans, his Porsche sports sedan, actually was at the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival earlier on this year. And that's the first time that car had been seen in many, many years. And yeah, can't wait for the 2025 edition of the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival. Of course, there's already been quite a few announcements made. The Porsche Can-Am car, the 917 Can-Am car, that's been announced that will be part of the field, many fields that we are going to see. That's going to turn heads.
Dan, I can't imagine the number of people who will go to the AMF just to see that car. That period in Can-Am racing was huge. The cars were ridiculous. We had some of them there last year. Huge engines, huge horsepower. And then this 917 Porsche came along and dominated. It beat them all.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. It really was quite remarkable, wasn't it? But we've said about Frank Kelly's flamboyant driving style. I tell you what, we reckon he's a bit bonkers. Well, Mad Mike will be at the event. Mad Mike Widette will be at the event next year, known for what he can do with a car, drifting it sideways all of the time. He's going to be a fan favourite next year. He'll have specific demonstrations where he'll be out there doing drifting in his McLaren. So he's so mad, he's called Mad Mike. That's the way he drives a motor racing vehicle. If you like your drifting, you will love that man.
Well, Mad Mike, I think, was one of the draw cards at Goodwood, wasn't he, a couple of years ago?
He was a couple of years ago, correct, absolutely right. And yeah, he'll be descending on Australia. I don't recall him ever being in Australia before, so
no,
a first at the Repco Adelaide Motorsport Festival. Event well known for its firsts. Of course, we've seen Valtteri Bottas drive Supercars for the first time at the Adelaide Motorsport Festival. We've seen all sorts of different firsts, and that will be another one. Can't wait for that event in 2026. As we can see, a few of the challenge class cars have lined up on the grid. Actually, let's have a little bit of a look at the current leaderboard in the challenge class.
Very hard fought.
Oh, certainly is, isn't it? Well and truly. So this is at the end of... let me find it, actually. If you want to talk us through a couple of these cars, because it has all changed, Nick, in the recent times in this category.
We're just looking at the Tour leader, or the course opener car for this category, which is an RX-7 that normally Smith and Glover you'll see on a gravel rally in the South Australian Rally Championship. And they're always there, whether they're in a course opening role or whether they're competing. They're always a part of the action. And, you know, I guess in real terms, they make up another number in the volunteers that we talked about so much. There's car number 601, the Subaru of Rogers and Rogers, who are going really, really well in this event. Now, we've had Spry and Spry doing fabulously well with the first day's competition, but as Dan said, there has been some changes, some of it due to mechanical, some of it possibly to a little indiscretion, but we're going to run through all those times in a minute and just tell you just how close these cars are. Now, they're limited to 130 kilometres per hour, but as you'd appreciate, 130 kilometres per hour on some of the twistiest roads you can find in this weather is serious concentration. So, Dan, how are they going?
So, it's been all changed since this morning. When we last tuned in, it was Spry versus Man. They were far clear of the field. However, the Spry combination that finished second here last year and has dominated challenge up to this point, unfortunately, they have dropped by the wayside. They're not the only ones. The Ford Focus RS of Daniel Andrews has also dropped by the wayside. That car was in 3rd position. Now this car, when we saw it earlier on this morning, was in position number 4. It now leads the challenge competition. Whoa, and he's getting some air as well. Tom Rogers has been on incredible form. He finished yesterday with 3 stage victories, and today, with the demise of 2 other cars, he moved up to 2nd position and has since then overhauled the reigning champions, the Mans, in the last couple of stages as well. So they now lead the Shannon's Adelaide Rally in the challenge class. Well, incredible turnaround.
He was having a red hot go through there.
Yeah, it certainly was.
That was a good leap. The Gazelle would have been happy with that. And here comes the Porsche, the Jim Richards car in its old Targa-Taz livery.
Certainly is. This car, the car struggled yesterday, but today, with the demise of a few vehicles, has moved itself into 6th position, just behind this machine actually, the Citroen C4 VTS of William Dudson, who goes through the chicane very nicely and over the brow of the hill. It looks to me like the rain has slightly subsided in the last couple of minutes, which is good news for these guys, that they can push the limits a little bit more. But the Citroen C4 continues to stay out of trouble and is moving forward as a result of that. This man, Nick, has been the star performer of the weekend. He's always a character, waving to the crowd. I'm sure he'll want an interview tomorrow. He's just got to be careful of his potty mouth.
He's hoping that his mum's watching. So
as
he's
always.
waving to his mum. Brocklebank and McGregor driving the car very quickly. This is not a high-budget car.
No.
And Brocklebank would be Robbie would be the first one to tell you that. But he is going very, very well. He's been moving up the charts today.
He has, Nick.
And look, we said earlier, Dan, we were having a chat. We reckon, if anything, he's being a bit more discreet. But
we'll see.
You can't bank on it, can you?
We'll see in this one, because this is where he nearly shunted it last year. So we'll see. It was through this very corner, and he's kept it in line a bit more this year. And it certainly looks a lot more the part as well. I think he's been working on that in the last 12 months. That was silky smooth. That can't be the same man that drove last year. But Nick, Robbie Brocklebank in the last stage has overtaken the Mans. Robbie Brocklebank is 2nd in the challenge class now. Through goes the Texaco Rover.
That is the sound of a dry-sumped 4.5 litre Rover V8 being absolutely pelted by Jai Raymond. Now, Jai broke the output shaft off the gearbox yesterday. He thought he had a clutch problem when they opened it up last night.
Oh, he's got a bit of a bigger problem there.
And no better guy to save it, because Jai is a driving instructor with the Australian Driving Institute, and he would have known exactly how to deal with that. And you saw how quickly he saved that. It could have been a spin from a lesser driver, but he took it all under his control. So fabulous to see Jai back out here. We thought we were going to see him tomorrow, but he's arrived early, and this is another car that had a little bit of trouble, but it's now back on deck, and it's good to see this 944 back out on the stages. This is the Mitsubishi Evo
of Ben Wheeler and Adrian Burnley, or Burney I should say. They were running inside the top 5 comfortably yesterday. However, unfortunately, a few mechanical issues for them late yesterday meant that they missed a lot of stages and now sit in position number 9. It's been such an attritional category this year. These guys, I thought they were going to take the bull by the horns and run away with this class after the demise of the Spries earlier on today. However, they have not been comfortable in the wet conditions, overhauled by Rogers and by Brocklebank in the last few stages. They are now over 2 minutes behind the rally leaders, and in fact they are being caught now by Corey Fechner as well.
Corey's in the number 3. That's this car. So it's a good time to mention that. So this is a genuine M3, as was raced by Jim Richards. You can see the pumped guards on it. And you listen to that beautiful BMW 4-cylinder 16-valve engine. Lovely, lovely combination. Beautiful car setup. Sits really flat in the corners. Turns in beautifully. and gets the power down as well. This is not an easy place to get the power down in a rear-wheel drive car, but he's doing a great job of it.
Certainly is. He is Greg Swiggs and Pluckenham, the co-driver alongside of him. Tanya Pluckenham. Oh, he's clipped the bollard there. Certainly, we've seen over the years, haven't we, that bollard has been hit a few times, but none more so than this year. It's taken an absolute pounding.
I think they imagine someone's face on it when they go through, and they visualise someone they don't like.
To be honest, Nick, you probably haven't seen much of this stage. The last few years, you've been down on the start line. Unfortunately, due to the weather conditions, we didn't think it would be very successful this year. But we will send you stage side at Strathalbyn in the next couple of, I was going to say days. It's tomorrow now, isn't it, that we'll be at Strathalbyn. But yeah, unfortunately, couldn't send you down there. So what do you think? You haven't really watched this stage before.
I know, I didn't get to see it after they went past the bridge. I spent most of my time standing next to cars under full acceleration, wheel spinning. But after I'd interviewed the drivers. But look, I've got to tell you that there were about 10 reasons why we decided not to interview the drivers at the start of this stage. I was happy to do it if we could, but we had electronics reasons, we had damage to gear reasons, we had audio would be terrible reasons. In fact, we didn't really get a choice in the end. The choice was made for us. We just had to opt not to do it. But tomorrow, with good weather down at Strathalbyn and 2 opportunities to interview drivers as they're lining up, we will do our level best to get all the comments from the drivers. This
is one of our Spirit Tour drivers at the bottom of the stage, so they're clearly running a little bit behind schedule. So I'm not sure if they're going to be sent up. What's the general protocol with something like this, Nick? If your category is already long gone and there's a category in between you, are you allowed to go up the stage? Well, clearly it looks like another car is going to be waved up instead. It's our TSD runners that are going to be waved up next. So we've already seen all of the challenge competitors. Of course, as we say, we've lost a few, unfortunately, today. A bit of a compacted field as a result. But what is the general protocol with something like that, Nick?
I don't really know, Dan, because you've got one of those categories that isn't timed, and then you've got another one that is. It's a very short stage, so no one's going to get in anyone's way. But I would imagine that they will send through all of their challenge cars before they let that Spirit Tour car go. He would have...
This is our leader, actually, in TSD. Continue your point, but I did want to make that point that this is our TSD leader.
So we're into TSD.
Yes, correct.
Well, he'll probably follow the TSD cars through. But look, he's obviously had to cut and run, maybe miss a stage. He's just about missed this one. He may even just transport through this stage and not record a time and just try and get to the next stage in time. These are the fellows who drove this car from Sydney to compete in the event in TSD, and they're going to drive it home as well by the looks, because it is unscathed, and they're probably having a great time enjoying the intricacies of their first regularity style rally event.
They certainly are in their Ford Falcon. They are directly in front of the reigning champions in this class of Chris Oldacre and David Greaves, who, Nick, have actually now, in the last couple of stages, fallen to 3rd in the class. They've already accumulated 49 points this weekend, which is more than they did throughout the entirety of the 3 days last year.
But isn't that a recovery for them? Didn't they drop back early on because of their indiscretion on one of the stages?
They did, Nick, but they've continued to collect points since then as well. In the previous stage, they were 4 seconds too fast and got hit with a further 20-point penalty. So it's very uncharacteristic of them. But the weather does throw up a few more challenges, because you can't quite carry the speed that you would normally expect to. And that means then you've got to try and catch that up. But then you might catch up too much, then you're too early.
Or you exceed your speed limit.
Correct, absolutely. So there's all sorts of different things going on, but it is so tight at the front. The Stephen Mallow and Shane Wood BMW that we saw first, they lead the rally now in TSD by just 2 points, Nick. 2 points between they and William Kay and Kim McGuinness in their Mini Cooper S, which we're yet to see go up the stage.
Wow, okay.
And only 19 points behind is Chris Oldacre and David Greaves. And as I said, in the last stage alone, they lost 20 points. If they didn't do that, they would be the TSD leaders by a solitary point now. So it is all to play for going into tomorrow.
So it may pan out, Dan, that TSD has been the most volatile class of all, with just constant position change.
Yeah, correct.
And that'd be a hoot to be in at this bit of discretion going on here.
There's
bit of extra care.
I thought it was the number 500, the Ryan Shook and Glenn Hutton Toyota GR Yaris, which is not this one. They are in 4th position, and they're only 15 points behind Chris Oldacre. And same with Anthony Daly and Cameron Van Hervel in the Hyundai that we just saw as well. They're only 4 points behind them. So the top here is our second place runners in the Mini, but the top 5, Nick, are separated by just 38 points. It's all to play for going into tomorrow.
I'm wondering, Dan, if tomorrow, when you've got short stages, they're all relatively short. The longest one is 10 kilometres. If it's harder to drive a perfect time on a short stage than it is on a long one.
Yeah,
because you've got more chances to vary. Whereas on a short spectator super special, it's anybody's guess how you're going. You haven't got time to respond.
No, you're right. You are correct. That's a very interesting point you make. Exactly right. You don't have time to fix your potential errors that you've made early on by going too fast or too slow. You've got to be precise in doing so. So I'm really fascinated to see how this is going to play out over even the next couple of stages. We might come to you first thing tomorrow in Strathalbyn, and it's going to look completely different again.
Yep. And a diverse array of cars as well, from Falcon sedans to Minis to a Volkswagen Beetle to they're all represented, aren't they?
And Brute on the registration plate. Of course, the very first year of the V8 Utes, it was known as the V8 Brute Series. And what a series that was. That really did get a cult following, didn't it? The V8 Ute series over many years, particularly when it was in its Holden and Ford era. Ford Falcons and Holden Commodore V8 Utes going at it. And there were some big names that drove in that category. Grant Denyer was a former champion. Chris Pither, a former champion in that series as well. It really did attract some big names for quite a few years.
And when they disappeared, Dan, when they were no longer manufactured and they moved to the diesel Utes, people just walked away.
They did.
No, this isn't motor racing. This is tradies going to work. So they had to rejig that a bit, get that V8 noise back into it, drop them about 4 inches so they looked like a race car again. And now we have a very successful, hard-fought category.
Absolutely.
And of course, Jaden Wanzek, who you mentioned the 86 series earlier, Jaden Wanzek also a fierce competitor in that, and now doing really well in the super trucks, super Utes.
Yep.
Jaden, Rookie of the Year, and hoping to achieve even more this year. His performance at Bathurst just recently was stellar.
Yeah, really good. Very good South Australian driver is Jaden Wanzek, who actually turned out his first job was at Cartmania Jeps Cross.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But he's moved on from there, moved on to other things, other racing, of course, as you say. But yeah, here we see the gold liveried Escort. I got in the mention of the Escort before you did there, Nick. That must be the first time this weekend.
That would be a first, yeah. But it's good to see you coming over to the field. Yeah.
Mazda
You've
MX-5.
raised your standards.
Mazda MX-5, the 509 machine. Geez, this looks like the hilarious run we've seen up here so far today. And as a result, it's no surprise that Roy Adams and Wayne Casey are at the bottom of the field at the moment. I think they've had a few too many of those hard-fought runs, really going hard at the stages. So they are in joint 10th position, actually, with the one of the other cars that we've already seen come through. Here is the 501. The names just continue to come through, don't they? This is Matthew Webster. Alongside of him is Craig Chappell in a 2021 Toyota GR Yaris. I can't believe that car's been around already that many years. 2021, that's remarkable.
It is, isn't it? And there's our Beetle with Tracy and Gordon. Gordon is a maths expert, and that's what you need in this category. You need someone who can steer, and someone who can do maths on the fly, and not only that, enjoy it. But they were there last year, and I think that Beetle's got a few extra herbs. I don't think that's any ordinary Volkswagen Beetle.
No.
But they're having a ball, and that's what this class is for. You don't have to be a motor racing legend. You don't have to have a huge budget. You don't have to want to drive a car super fast. You just go out and enjoy the roads and enjoy the competition. Enjoy doing something where you're going to win or lose or come in between, or, you know, race your mates, do all that stuff. Really healthy category.
Looks to me like they are going to send up the Spirit Tour driver, which is nice to see. All the TSD cars have now gone through, so it is just the 443 of Anthony Massateruno that is going to go up the stage. And what a machine it is in proper Subaru factory livery spec.
Yep. Colin McRae spec.
Oh, getting some air as well. Colin will be proud of that one. That is for sure. That was cool over the brow of the hill there. But of course, let's not forget, it wasn't just Colin McRae that piloted these Subarus famously. Of course, his teammate in those late 90s was, of course, Carlos Sainz. And as well, in later years, we saw the likes of Richard Burns and Petter Solberg also winning world championships in Subaru Prezas.
Yep, and all terrific ambassadors for the sport. Sadly, Richard Burns no longer with us, and Colin McRae no longer with us. And both for reasons completely outside motorsport.
Yeah, correct.
So there they were doing one of the most dangerous things on earth, and that wasn't what brought about their demise. So, you know, life is short, and it's not. You don't necessarily know how it's going to finish.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, Colin McRae in a helicopter accident, and of course Richard Burns with a brain tumour, as you say, not to do with motorsport in any regard, but really cool to have that Subaru here as part of the Shannon's Adelaide Rally. That car, the 999, is the final car to go up the hill. The 999 machine going over the brow of the hill. This is the car, the 999, that concludes proceedings. It follows all of the cars.
It means that shortly after this, when the police are satisfied and the marshals are all satisfied that all the conditions have been met, they will then reopen the road to local residents. And I think we've done it well within time, Dan. I think it was a pretty good performance, as it has been all weekend. We've had a couple of little hiccups, but really I'd have to say that organisation has been outstanding. I'm using Rally Safe. I can see on my phone where all the cars are all the time on the map, and generally they've run to time at stages.
Absolutely. The only hiccup in this stage is the bollard taking a real punishing throughout the stage. So we have to say thank you to the bollards for your work throughout that stage, as well as all of the volunteer marshals and officials, and of course the Streamcraft media team. We are concluding proceedings here on this Saturday afternoon. We've got 2 stages live from the streets of Strathalbyn. Make sure you tune in to watch all of the action then, from myself, Dan McCarthy, and from Nick Lenthal alongside of me. We very much look forward to seeing you in Strathalbyn from 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Cheers.